nutritious meal, and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your flap. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings outscored Caleb Williams and the Bears 21-7 in the fourth quarter to knock off their division rivals 27-24 in a stunner. McCarthy, after throwing a pick-six to start the second half, rallied the troops and threw TD passes to Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones before running it in for himself from 14 yards out to put the game all but out of reach with under 3 minutes to go. Is the former Michigan National Championship winning QB just scratching the surface of what is going to be a star-studded career? And what about Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? How will they rebound from a lackluster start to their time together? And in a bombshell report from The Athletic, 8 high-ranking Detroit Tigers executives, including 4 vice presidents, have been accused of sexual misconduct towards women and claim that the Tigers organization is riddled with offenders and is one of the most toxic places to work in professional sports. Not a good look for a team that has led the AL Central all season. We will cover all the ins and outs of one of the grimiest stories going today before making a call to the pen and cracking a six-pack with Speedy, looking ahead to Week 2 of the NFL season on another revved up, jam-packed, live Wednesday night edition of Jabba and the Mouth.
Give him a significant. They're going to have a ton of money to spend. Why not put it in one of the top 3 offensive players in the league? We're going to be looking at Aaron Judge and saying that he can't win the big game. Michael Jordan said, I played 82 games. You don't see LeBron doing that.
This is a game where you got to go perform.
I told you, Giant fans, and Saquon Barkley, at this point, I'm gonna fight them all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off. Say whatever you want about Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. Really? And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. And back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And the name's coming from my eyes. Can't get it alone.
Let's do it. You're listening to Jabba and the Mouth.
I gotta dance a little bit. I'm feeling it tonight. You're listening to a new show of Jabba and the Mouth. You know who I am. My name is Errol Marks. My co-host, Jabba Chamberlain and the Stir. 631-672-3108 is the number to call. You just heard our executive producer, Mr. Aaron Fishman. No Tommy Poops. I don't know where he is. On the board right now is Speedy. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba and the Mouth. Every single Mondays and now Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's been raining all day here in Long Island, New York. If you like the rain, well, I like dancing in the rain. I don't know if anybody's done it. I've done it many, many times. It was misting today. I was acting like a jackass over there at Mather, and I was dancing on the sidewalk, and then these girls, I guess nurses, were walking around getting their cardio, and they were looking at me and thought I was absolutely nuts. So I am a little nuts. If you don't listen to this show, you would probably know that I'm a little nuts, a little nutty. But, yeah, I like to do stupid things usually half the day, and then as we move forward later in the day, I do even more interesting things. But nevertheless, I wasn't doing anything that got me in trouble, so that's a good sign. Jabba, what's going on with you, man? I know you've been doing your cardio. You're eating your yogurt. You're staying healthy. 36 pounds down right now, Mr. Chamberlain.
Nothing. It got up to 88 today, so it was kind of hot. It actually was
over there
hot.
right now?
Yeah, it was down to like 48, I think, last week, and now back up to. We'll have like a few days of this, then it'll go back to the normal. We'll see if we actually get some fall weather, which will be nice. Because the fall around here, when leaves start changing and everything, that's always a good time around here. But yeah,
I like the fall. I like the fall. I like when the leaves are falling down. The only thing I hate about the fall is when all the leaves are off the trees and you got to clean up and it gets wet and soggy. The leaves get wet and soggy. And if you're doing that, you're cleaning off the lawn, it takes forever to clean up. And
do you bag your leaves or do you mulch them?
A lot of people over here, they don't even do it. What they do is they hire all these different companies to do it for them because I live in a very rich neighborhood. So they're all hiring people to do it. They don't even want to do it. My landlord, he actually enjoys doing it. So he mulches them sometimes. He picks it up depending on where it is because he's got a lot of trees and a lot of bushes. So you got to go in it and you got to pull it out. So usually in the bushes, he's bagging them. On the grass, he's usually mulching them. But he's very particular on how he takes care of his lawn and his property.
I've had some bad experiences jumping into leaf piles with sticks. But when you're a kid, you don't as a grown up, you think about it because, you're doing it for your kids. But then as a kid, you don't care. I'm just jumping in. I've been stabbed with sticks so many times. But those are the fun memories you remember as a kid, jumping into leaf piles and playing pickle in the front yard. Those are all the good times. Between the trees. Between the trees, man.
Playing pickle here is a completely different thing to do. I mean, if you're playing pickle, you're getting yourself into trouble. You might go to jail, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, we're not playing. Yeah, hide the pickle. We're playing. Run down. I don't know, Sandlot, right? Pickle. See, you're from Long Island, dude. That's who knows what's going in your orifices over there.
Orifices.
Speedy finally knows what that is after about 2 months of.
Oh, I know because I know because Errol's laughing. I know it's something like that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't crack up that hard unless it was involving something about me.
Well, I don't.
No, we all have them.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Speedy likes to play with his own fiddle. He doesn't like to climb roofers, if you know what I mean. Anyways, it's been a crazy week, and I know a lot of people are enjoying their time. Sports is really starting to pick up. You got the football season. We're going already in week 2. It's crazy. We have a big game coming up on Thursday Night Football. You have the Packers. Yes, 2 possible playoff teams sitting there right now, the Commanders and the Packers. The Packers, we saw what they did in game number 1 against a very good Lions team, and the Commanders absolutely demolished the New York Giants. And the Giants, they stayed close, but I want to see Jaden Daniels actually pick up his game a little bit better against this Green Bay Packer team. And they're going into Green Bay. It's going to be loud. People are going to be crazy over there. And it's not a cold time. So I guess the Commanders are going into Green Bay at the perfect time. They don't have to deal with that freezing, what do they call it? The frozen tundra over there. You don't want to go over there in Green Bay when it's cold. And you have all these people wearing no shirts. I have no idea. Has anybody watched these Green Bay Packer games in the month of January? The fans are nuts. They're nuts. It's below zero, and they're sitting out there with just their underwear and no shirt, no pants, no nothing. I don't know how they do it. I'd probably go to the hospital after the game because I would probably have frostbite in many different areas.
They're not the only place though. The Bills do it. A lot of cold places. Not as many, I don't think. Not as many.
Green Bay is very cold.
Java, there's enough players that try to be cocky and try to do it too, warming up shirtless before the games, aka the 2016 New York Giants. Everyone complains about the boat trip, then everyone else is on offense is warming up shirtless. I think besides Eli Manning.
I didn't like to, like, when it was cold, and they're obviously playing a little bit different, but like when I would warm up when it was cold, I didn't like to sit in front of the warmer or the heater or the fan, just because I wanted to warm up like it was going to be. It's not like I have a heater blowing on me when I'm in the game. So as soon as I'd get called, I would stretch. I would have my jacket on, but as soon as I would get warm, I would have them turn it off or turn it towards the guys that were sitting in the pen. I didn't like it, and I'm not going to be Tommy Toughnuts where they're on the field and like their bodies are steaming and stuff. I'm like, no, I
like that take. Tommy Toughnuts. Tommy's not playing with his nuts right now over here at the board. I don't know where Tommy is. What happened to Tommy? Tommy Poops is not in the studios right now. That's an interesting story, Jabba, by the way.
Probably fell in.
Probably fell in the pooper. I maybe drowned in the pooper. It doesn't make any sense. I usually
let's not go that far.
Well, I'm a little lost today. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I'm not going to mention it. We don't go into politics, but it's crazy. The world is crazy. And that's why we try to take you away from all the politics and all the craziness. And you get a chance to sit down and listen to our takes, what's going on in sports and the craziness. And it kind of keeps you away from all the nutty stuff that's going on where you just want to either jump off a bridge or jump off a building because it's just nuts right now all over the world. But nevertheless, we have a great show lined up for you. But I want to give a shout out. I was hanging out yesterday at Miller's Ale House with one of my good friends, Leaf. He's the manager of Miller's Ale House. I reached out to him. I said, I'm coming up. And me and him sat, and we were speaking about sports for 2.5 hours. He's a big sports fan. And I got to hang out with Danny Speedy. I know you love Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy Danny. So we really enjoyed ourselves. We were talking baseball and football and fantasies in our fantasy. Right now, he's in the fantasy league. So I want to give a shout out to my friend Leaf. By the way, he's engaged. He's getting married next year. He's very excited. And I'm excited for my pal. I've been friends with him since middle school. Absolutely love him. So congratulations to Leaf, and very excited for him and his future with his future wife. So shout out to the Leaf boy. All right, at 9:45, we'll be talking to ESPN NFL National Giants reporter. And I want to give a shout out to our boy Nith for landing him, Mr. Jordan Ronan. He's going to be joining us. First time on our show. He's one of the best in the business. Very excited to get him on, and a lot to get into with football as we're going to get right into it. In an electric fourth quarter comeback by the Vikings and quarterback J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota took down the rival and their rival, the one and only Chicago Bears, on Monday Night Football. The Vikings were down 17-6 after J.J. McCarthy threw a pick six and outscored the Bears 21-7 in the rest of the game. McCarthy finished 13 for 20. For 143 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, with 2 carries for 25 yards and a rushing touchdown. The Bears have 3 blown fourth quarter leads since the second half of last year and have lost 10 of their last 11 total games. The Bears' offensive line struggled despite their offseason improvements, allowing 3 sacks, while Caleb Williams scrambling was almost half of the Bears' rushing attack. Williams was effective for new coach Ben Johnson, going 21 for 35 with 210 passing yards and a touchdown, with 58 more on the ground with a rushing touchdown in a losing effort on a prime time channel, baby. And you know what channel we're talking about. But here's the thing. I love Caleb Williams. I love everything about him. I followed him all the way through USC, and well, we all know what Caleb Williams was with Lincoln Riley. This is a guy that has a tremendous amount of talent. His ability to move outside of the pocket, make throws. I compared his talents to Aaron Rodgers. That's the type of player he is. He is sensational to watch. He can do so many things on the football field that would just make you just say, wow, this guy is as good as anybody we've seen at the quarterback position come out of the draft over the last 10 seasons. The problem with Caleb Williams is his mouth. He blabbers things. He does things off the field. He speaks to the media wrong. He goes into the video room, sitting down with players, the quarterback room, as a story came out recently before the season started, that Caleb Williams couldn't sit in with the quarterbacks because they were attacking him on the way he looked at plays, the way he didn't see the plays. And Ben Johnson is a very particular person offensively. You know the type of coach he is. You saw what he did with the Lions. He transformed the Lions offense for the last 5-6 seasons. So we know what Ben Johnson is. Ben Johnson walking into this Chicago Bears organization, you would have thought this would have changed a little bit. This is not Eberflus. We all know what Eberflus was when he took over this job. Almost 4 seasons over there with Chicago. You wondered if Eberflus was ever going to figure it out as a head coach, and he didn't. They had Justin Fields. He couldn't develop Justin Fields. Then they kept him. Chicago kept Eberflus there for another year. He had a chance to coach Caleb Williams. It didn't work out. So what did Chicago do? Well, Chicago went into the offseason and they said, we got to find the best offensive mind we possibly can. They landed the best offensive coach available in this past offseason. And what did it do? And what did it show in game number 1? Well, it showed some interesting information. We saw that Caleb Williams was effective, but only in the first half. In the second half, Caleb Williams started putting himself into bad situations, throwing the ball in bad situations. He sometimes threw the ball away, and he was trying to throw an over-the-shoulder pass, and he was missing wide receivers open in many different parts of the game, especially in the third and fourth quarter. Caleb Williams, to me, if you can get into his mind, he's not the same quarterback. And you can see that. And I love what Chicago did in the offseason, adding Tooney and some of the additions they added to the offensive line. But in the second half, you saw Minnesota's defense. And I'm going to tell you this. Minnesota's defense is one of the best defenses in the league, especially how they blitz and they use their different blitz packages, bring up safeties and corners. You saw that in the fourth quarter. They put a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams and that offense. And the one thing I can say that Ben Johnson is so very good at is running the ball. And by the way, they couldn't run the ball in this game, no matter who they were handing the ball to. The only person that can run the ball is Caleb Williams. And to me, that is a problem. If your best runner is your quarterback and you're not getting any running from Swift or any of the talented players and playmakers that they have in the backfield, you have a problem. And you go against the Minnesota Viking team that also has a rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who missed his rookie season because he tore, what was it, his knee or his Achilles?
Yeah, his knee.
He tore his knee. He was out a whole season. This is his rookie season. And in the first half of the game, a lot of people were taking shots at J.J. McCarthy. As a matter of fact, Fish was right there going back and forth telling me, oh, J.J. McCarthy doesn't look like he's the real deal, blah, 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 blah. On social media, everybody was saying that J.J. McCarthy's a bust. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? J.J. McCarthy settled down. He realized that he has Justin Jefferson on the same team. He made some, quite nice, unusual passes to some of the open guys that he was getting the ball to. And he started using his legs, which he's going to be very, very good at because he's a mobile quarterback. And you got a chance to see a national champion player at work at the quarterback position. And why we've heard Jim Harbaugh, who is a very successful college coach and is a very successful NFL coach, come out and say that J.J. McCarthy could be the best quarterback in that class. And you're talking about a class which Bo Nix has shown up to show everybody that he could play, and quite a few other quarterbacks that came out of that class. The fact is,
But Errol, let me ask you a question though. When you said you can get into Caleb's mind, right? Okay, yeah, they're both technically rookies, but do you think like the mental part of the game is just as much as you work on as a physical aspect? Do you think that year that JJ, because you didn't see panic in him when it was kind of going downhill, do you think him being on the sideline, being hurt, made him do this more, think about it, than actually being thrown in the fire and being able to slow it down when he was put in that position to where, yeah, they're both rookies, but he got to see it from the sidelines. He wasn't competing and doing it at that level. So he had that time. And we've seen the Aaron Rodgers of the world where they sat behind guys, where we've seen how much that has added value to their game without necessarily throwing them into the fire immediately.
I think that J.J. McCarthy is a guy that has a very good coach, a very good offensive mind in O'Connell, that's going to sit there. He's going to explain the X's and the O's on the sideline. You saw, especially in the first half, when J.J. McCarthy was getting uncomfortable in the pocket, you saw after he sat down that the coach sat with him during breaks. He was talking to him, showing him what he saw on the pad, and it explained a little bit to J.J. McCarthy what O'Connell would have saw as a starting quarterback on an NFL team. Remember, O'Connell was an NFL quarterback. He was a backup quarterback, but this is a guy that has experience. He worked under Kyle Shanahan. He's worked on a Sean McVay. He's worked under good coaches, good offensive minds. And O'Connell could go down as the more talented one out of both those guys if he can develop a quarterback. O'Connell never had a chance to develop his own quarterback. He was handed Cousins. He was handed quarterbacks when he took over the job. So now he has a chance to develop one quarterback, which he's never got a chance to do. And I agree with you, Jabba. I think the fact that he has been in these experiences before, he's been in a national title game, he's been in positions where maybe he wasn't playing well, or maybe he wasn't seeing the field like he should. He settled down and he realized, hey, listen, I'm a good quarterback. I can make the throws. I got the players on the field and I can use my legs. And you saw that in the fourth quarter. J.J. McCarthy, you could see, calm down. And as soon as he threw that touchdown to Justin Jefferson, he really started to feel it and understand what he was seeing on the field. And then everything started to slow down in front of him. And you hear it from quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes said it in his first season. It took 6 games for him to settle down and the game to slow down in front of him. I think J.J. McCarthy, I'm not saying it's slowed down. It's going to slow down now after the first game. But if you heard what he said after the game, he said that in the fourth quarter, everything started to slow down. I started seeing things that the coach was telling me on the sidelines. I felt more comfortable stepping into the pocket or moving outside of the pocket and making my passes. And again, he had a running game. He had Aaron Jones that could catch the ball in the backfield and make plays with his legs. And that was the difference in the game. I think Aaron Jones didn't have one of the best games that he possibly can have, but Aaron Jones did enough to take the pressure off the young quarterback so he can get settled in and get calmed down and play and make the plays that he needed to. So I think the fact is, we're asking, and there's a lot of questions, is this the same old Chicago Bears? And is this the Minnesota Viking team that we could believe that is going to challenge the Detroit Lions in the future and the Green Bay Packers in a division that's fully loaded? And I'm telling you, absolutely loaded, because I believe this is the best division in football. Again, Chicago is a team that I think is going to need time. I worry for Chicago because they decided to part ways with Justin Fields. And now that Ben Johnson's here, maybe Ben Johnson would have found the best attack with maybe a Justin Fields. You could see the difference with Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields, how much it's worked in one game. Maybe Ben Johnson, an offensive mind, a valued, scrambling quarterback like Justin Fields, that's the type of quarterback that Ben Johnson can flourish with. I don't know. Caleb Williams is kind of like that, but he's got a better arm. The fact is, Caleb Williams is hard to deal with. I've heard stories. He thinks he's bigger and better than he should be, and he has this ego. And when you go out there, over and over and over again, and we've seen it. Russell Wilson's one of them. Just think about it. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl with one of the greatest defenses of all time. And Russell Wilson gets pat on the back that he was the reason why they won the Super Bowl. And when he threw that interception, what was it, a year or 2 years later?
A year later, yep.
And the interception of that ruined the game and it cost him another Super Bowl. Everybody's going to say, well, Russell Wilson, that was his chance to prove himself, and he never got a chance to go over that, and he never could look past that. And I think that really decided eventually 3 years later that Russell Wilson wasn't the guy anymore, that they had to move on from Russell Wilson. I think it was 4 years after that. But the fact is, Russell Wilson is, to me, a very comparable quarterback to Caleb Williams, a guy that wasn't drafted at the number one pick like Caleb Williams, but a guy that right off the bat took the job from Matt Flynn and eventually had a chance to work in with a great coach in Pete Carroll that understands how to win championships because he won a national championship, actually won 2 of them with USC, and then eventually struggled because he couldn't get along with his own teammates. I think that could be a problem in Chicago. I don't know if he's going to get along with his teammates, and eventually his teammates are going to give up on him and eventually put Ben Johnson.
But who's the one to step up and I mean, lack of a better term, put him in his place, right?
I think it's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's the young coach. Ben Johnson's the one that everybody was speaking so highly about, how he transformed the Detroit Lions offense and completely turned them into a Super Bowl contender. And a lot of people think Ben Johnson's the guy that's going to do that with Chicago. I know me and Aaron picked the Bears to win against Minnesota in week 1. And what happened? They choked in the fourth quarter. This is very Bear-like. We've seen this before. Like the Jets, they can't finish. Minnesota, say whatever you want about them. They're a team that finds a way to finish. Go look. But they also have Justin Jefferson. And Chicago, look at the weapons they have. DJ Moore is a great wide receiver. You got Odunze, who is going to be, hopefully, one of the elite wide receivers and young receivers in the league. They've got weapons. Why weren't they using those checkdowns that Ben Johnson likes to use? Remember the Lions. The Lions had all these running backs, Montgomery and Gibbs, and then he had guys like St. Brown and great tight end play. He has more weapons right now with Chicago than he had with the Lions. Why weren't they using their wide receivers and their tight ends for checkdowns? There was no checkdowns in the fourth quarter, and I think it put Caleb Williams in a position to make mistakes, and he made a lot of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough break when you look at the Bears and how well they played defensively through 3 quarters. And you would think the offense, the way that Ben Johnson likes to do it, is going to be able to close out that game. And I think, like you were mentioning, a lot of it has to do with the offensive line still having to figure things out. I think to an extent, though, a lot of these players, these skill players that they have, are still on the streakier side. DeAndre Swift had his best year in 2021 with Ben Johnson, but still has been a relatively streaky running back since then. Tight ends are still trying to figure it out. Kmet's a good all-around guy, not really a huge threat as a receiver, but can do a little of everything. Then you got Colson Loveland, who they drafted at a top 10 pick over Tyler Warren, which a lot of people thought was a bold pick at the time. And really, he didn't get targeted much either. Where are those other options going to come from if Chicago's offensive line struggles?
I was looking at the game, and I didn't see. Did Loveland even get the ball?
He got
thrown
like
to him?
two catches for like 13
I didn't
yards
even see. I wasn't watching the full game because I was doing the show. I was hosting the show. But when I was watching the game and I was glimpsing on the game, I didn't see Loveland get targeted enough. This is a guy that has tremendous speed, has great hands. Everybody thought he might have been the steal and the best tight end in the class. And he didn't throw him the ball enough. And he's the kind of guy, and in Ben Johnson's offense, he loves using the tight ends, right, as he loved using the tight ends with the Lions.
He elevated TJ Hawkinson after he had a couple injury-riddled seasons to get him some trade value in 2022. Then they traded him to the Vikings that year. And you remember, even after that, those other random tight ends broke out. Remember those 2 that were going off against the Jets that one week? And a couple other games down the stretch. The Lions were playing spoilers and almost made the playoffs a lot because of the way they use the tight ends. And obviously, Laporta has the big rookie year. You did not see that kind of thing in that game. Now, I give Brian Flores some credit too. Obviously, Vikings have always done a great job along with the Broncos. Those are probably the two best like blitz defenses in the league where they disguise
Should
it
have had
very
a job.
well.
Should have had a job in the
100%.
offseason. He wasn't even interviewed by the Jets. He wasn't interviewed by 3 or 4 of the teams that were looking for head coaches for some reason. And a lot of the reasons why Brian Flores, we all know the back end with Miami and suing the Miami Dolphins. And a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of owners did not like what Brian Flores was trying to do and trying to bring racism into the game. But again, he's not wrong for what he believed. He was mistreated by Miami. He should have been treated a lot better. And a lot of owners don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, and also you look at the way that Flores was able to establish that culture with that defense too. Remember, Mike Zimmer kind of wore out their players towards the end of his tenure too. And while he was a good coach, a lot of players were taking shots at him kind of towards the end. And they needed somebody to revitalize that defense. That 2022 defense was so bad, and then all of a sudden he takes over, and they are very good. And you saw what he did to that offense throughout that game in the second half of the season, or second half of the game. 10 points they allowed. It was just the pick 6 that made it look like 17. But again, the offense took a while to get going. But again, I was a bit skeptical with McCarthy too. I thought he was kind of a more basic quarterback. He made some very good intermediate throws too. Granted, Chicago was down 2 corners. At the same time, though, it's a lot of stones for a rookie quarterback in prime time to do what he did, down 17-6. So you got to give JJ McCarthy some credit there. Spread the ball around nicely. Jefferson gave him confidence, and they used everyone else.
Right now, I trust
Speedy. Hold on, great usage of the word stones. Wow. That was impressive.
He doesn't have any stones. We all know that.
Well, I don't know, but that flowed nice.
And that is
one of the last analogies I thought you would use. That was Speedy. Hats off to you, bud. Wow, that was impressive.
Well, don't take that hat off.
Hey, I'm not ashamed. I told you I was 2 haircuts away from bald, and I said I'm out.
I love you. Man.
Jabba gave me a compliment just now. I'm not gonna criticize anything.
And that was genuine. That wasn't save your tears. I have to compliment.
I know, but he's not wrong. JJ McCarthy played very well in the fourth quarter when you probably would have thought that he would have given up or not realized that he was playing in an NFL game. And this is not the college game where he's going to find a way to run the ball and try to get in the end zone. He did more than that. He saw the field a little bit different in the fourth quarter, and he used his best player. And when he figured out how to use Justin Jefferson, everything changed in the fourth quarter. Justin Jefferson had how many catches in the fourth quarter? I think it was like 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. When you're having those kind of catches in the fourth quarter where it opens up the offense, then it starts to give him the opportunity to use his legs, which he wasn't using really throughout the game. I thought it was completely different when he was doing that in the fourth quarter. And I think it was unique. And I think O'Connell's a guy that I trust. I trust the way he calls games. We saw what he's done over the last couple of years. It's very comparable to a Kyle Shanahan, the way he likes to call plays. And you see the difference. The only thing that I could say that JJ McCarthy needs to do more of is use his legs. This is a guy that is very good at seeing the field. I know Jim Harbaugh, one of the reasons why he recruited J.J. McCarthy was the ability that he had, mobility, and the way he can move inside and out of a pocket. If he does that, I think he could be one of the more unique quarterbacks in this league because he can make those throws on the run. And it reminds me, and he's better. He's a better version of him. And I know Fish doesn't want to hear this, of a Daniel Jones. That's the type of guy he is. Wow. He's got a little bit better of an arm than Daniel Jones. But this is a guy that can make the throws on the run, and he can use his legs. He's a lot faster than he looks. He does look a little doofy. He's a pretty boy on the football field. But when he sees the field and he understands how to find the lanes, he just runs right through them, and he's very good at it.
I wouldn't say Daniel Jones. I would actually give him higher praise.
You see, because you hate Daniel Jones.
I would say
you hate Daniel Jones. That's
wow.
fine.
I'm gonna say he's a faster Baker Mayfield with potential to be that guy. He's not Daniel Jones 6'5". This guy's not 6'5", right? But the thing about JJ McCarthy,
he's 6'3".
Daniel Jones is remarkably tall, and it's one of he's this type of player that I wasn't sure. The reason why I wasn't sure, I didn't say I didn't believe in him. I just said when he came out, there was a game his senior year where I think he threw 3 times in the game. And if you're a top 10 pick, and I know there was weather in that game, but that's not what usually happens, right? And it was hard.
He's
going, coach at the time.
You're going in and out. We're going to try to help you.
You just didn't see it. So, and then he missed the whole season, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I have you guys fine. But I think he's great. And the thing that I think is great about him is his leadership abilities. I wasn't sure that he could throw it at the NFL level like he is right now. But that's his coach, too, and having a year off to sit. You said it earlier. Having that, like redshirt year was probably the best thing that could have happened to him. Now that he has that experience of doing the board work, of learning the NFL game, you know, at a higher level and not have to put anything at risk, you saw him be a little nervous early. And then when it got to winning time, this is a guy who knows how to win. And this is a guy who can lead a team. And you saw the offensive lineman, Justin Jefferson, every single player on that team going nuts for this guy. They have his back already. It was his first game. Daniel Jones never had the team's back like that. Not once.
Well, in the beginning,
that's a Baker Mayfield quality.
In the beginning, the Giant fans and the Giant players were behind Daniel.
The one game he had the 4 touchdowns. I remember. I remember the big game he had his rookie year.
A game that really stuck out to me and why people were making fun of Daniel Jones is when he was running for a touchdown and he tripped on his own feet. Yeah. I think that's the game.
Yeah, the blade of grass.
Yeah, when he tripped on his own feet, when he had the whole field to run into a touchdown,
Sniper.
He tripped on his own feet. And a lot of Giant fans hate Daniel Jones because he couldn't close out certain games because the Giants never gave him an offensive line. And if you look at J.J. McCarthy, he has an offensive line. He's got weapons. He's got a good running game. Aaron Jones, when healthy, he's really, really good. And he can catch the ball in the backfield as well as any running back or even some of the slot wide receivers in the league. He's very fast. He could definitely hit that second gear. So I think also when you have Justin Jefferson, to me, when healthy, there's nobody better than him right now in the league, except maybe Brian Thomas, which I'm always giving.
Oh, come on. You know there's a couple other guys that should be
I
named.
like Brian Thomas. But, dude, tell me a game that Brian Thomas, since he's come into the league, ever played bad in. I mean, seriously. You go to Jamar Chase, there are games that Jamar Chase doesn't show up in.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir. He carried me to the fantasy finals last year, Brian Thomas. He was one of the best pick I made, him and Bucky Irving.
I'm just telling you, Brian Thomas is a guy that in every single game, he's important to the offense. And that's when you spot out and you know that this guy's going to be a star. Same thing with Justin Jefferson. Ever since he took over with Minnesota, and Minnesota traded him for who, Speedy? Who did they trade him?
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, who's right now playing for the New England Patriots, who, by the way, had a no-show on Sunday. All right? I'm just speaking the truth here. When Stephon Diggs went to Buffalo, and he played well in Buffalo, but never won anything. When they made that move and they brought in Justin Jefferson, used that pick to get Justin Jefferson, you got one of the more elite style of players that not only can dance on a football field, that can make every single catch and do things and make things so much easier for the quarterback. Ask Kirk Cousins. Ask the quarterbacks that they brought in after Kirk Cousins went down. There were quarterbacks you never even heard of that took over after Kirk Cousins tore his is it his ACL?
Yeah, ACL, I believe, and Achilles.
And Achilles.
I think both
when he tore his Achilles, they brought in quarterbacks that probably wouldn't have started on any other team. And as a matter of fact, there was a quarterback eventually that got traded to Arizona or somewhere else because they were competing for to make the playoffs. So I just think that what you see right now with a J.J. McCarthy is a young kid that's only going to get better. I'm not saying he's Daniel Jones. I'm saying that the way his ability to move outside of the pocket, and he's a lot faster than he looks. He's not a pretty boy. He's not a guy that can't do things on a football field that can make him a star. You saw what he could do in a fourth quarter, and that's what you want to see. If a guy could show up in a fourth quarter, if he's playing bad the whole game and win a football game for you, that says something as a championship quarterback and a quarterback that's won before in college.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you don't really see during the draft process because you're not interacting with these guys like the GMs and the agents and stuff like that is that kind of mentality. And Fish, what you were describing too is something that I was a little skeptical of too with the intermediate throws with J.J. McCarthy, stuff like that. I agree with you, Errol. Throwing on the run, I always thought was a strong suit for him in Michigan. I did think they should utilize that kind of thing more, but some of those intermediate throws, just because he didn't have to do them at Michigan because they were just a ground and pound type offense, maybe you're just seeing, okay, he can actually do that kind of thing in this type of scheme with those types of wide receivers and make that kind of thing work. for a guy that's also very smart too. I always said McCarthy was a smart quarterback. He wasn't reckless like you saw some of these other quarterbacks try to be at Michigan in the past too.
He's a Jim Harbaugh quarterback. Andrew Luck, you know who that is? Another Jim Harbaugh quarterback.
Now director of player personnel, I think.
Over there at Stanford. Yes, he is. I actually saw a documentary on YouTube today about him. It's a sensational story. By the way,
it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, he
looks like he's 50, by the way.
One of the smartest.
Captain Andrew Luck is the top 5 Twitter accounts.
Andrew Luck has a master and a doctorate. That's how smart Andrew Luck is. He is intelligent, big, strong, and had a lot left to play NFL football. He just didn't want to have any of the brain trauma, and he wanted to spend time with his family and enjoy the rest of his life. I love Andrew Luck because Andrew Luck stood for something. When you look at guys and athletes that want to step away from the game because they want to look forward to their future, he didn't look towards the game and say, I can't live without the game. The game went past him, and he said, you know what? I did what I wanted to do in the 8 or 9 years I was there. Now I want to move on with my career and do more things for me and my family. And that's what I love about Andrew Luck. That's using your brain. J.J. McCarthy, another Jim Harbaugh guy. Why everybody thinks J.J. McCarthy could be successful in the NFL is because of this. Brain over brawn. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's going to make J.J. McCarthy very unique, especially with O'Connell, who's a very good X's and O's type of guy.
And you see the opposite kind of thing with Caleb Williams. Now, I give him the benefit of the doubt, Caleb Williams still, because I think, like I was saying, a lot of these newer offensive skill players all at once kind of being down hurt him, I think, too. And I think, again, learning a very complicated offense like Ben Johnson that was very different than what he's played with in years past could be a little different. Lincoln Riley is very much the opposite of Ben Johnson if you look at the way they play offense. And Lincoln Riley, obviously, both at Oklahoma and USC, use a lot of those 3 receiver sets. And I think you see that kind of thing different now in the NFL.
Lincoln knows how to develop quarterbacks. So
of course,
if Caleb Williams settles down and stop opening his mouth and just plays the game and plays with his abilities and stop using the way he reacts to things on and off the field from players and other people, media guys talking about him, Caleb Williams is going to be a star in this league. He's too talented not to be. But the problem with him is he lets the media get to him and he lets his coaches and players get to him. And that reminds me of Russell Wilson, a guy that has become a journeyman, won a Super Bowl champion, and all of a sudden, who people, including, I don't know if it's Fish, somebody told me or believes that he's a Hall of Famer. I don't.
Yeah, it was Fish a few weeks ago.
I don't
Who's
think
that?
Russell Wilson. I
think he said borderline.
I said borderline. He's a guy, if he could play for another 3 years and put up adequate numbers,
not happening.
You're going to have a conversation about him. You have to.
He was great on Sunday, by the way. 2 thumbs up for you Giant fans.
I don't make me talk about this yet. We'll get there.
Oh, those are great.
I can't do this.
Wandale Robinson. Oh, yeah.
Look, the Wandale Robinson, our 2nd round pick, who's like 5'5" and like, you know, the shortest arms in the league.
I remember that. I was like, why are you drafting a 5th round
like by
prospect
far?
in the 2nd round? Like, seriously.
Look, he was good at Kentucky. J.J. McCarthy.
He was good at Nebraska too. Relax.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, John.
J.J. McCarthy, in his career, listen to this, dating back to high school, 67-3 in his career as a starting quarterback. All losses in high school. He didn't lose a game as the starting quarterback of Michigan. Think about that for a second. In regular season. Right? That is a winner. And I say this a bunch, and, you know, like, obviously different levels, it means different, things are stacked differently in high school, especially at college. NFL is a whole different beast. But if he's going to play like this in the 4th quarter and have his team behind him and be a leader of men, which is what you see from Harbaugh guys, Andrew Luck, a leader of men. He's the AD of Stanford, a prestigious institute. He's not even 40 yet. That guy is going places. I bet you end up hearing him running for office one day. That's the type of guy. He's 35. He's my little brother's age. That is...
No, like, we have enough athletes running for office. Mark Teixeira is running for, I think, some political office right now.
Senator, he would. Honestly, though, his demeanor and the type of person Tex is, he would be really, really good at it.
I'm sure.
I bet he'd be good at it. I just think that this guy's going like even greater places than he is now, and I think a lot of that comes from how you're raised. Obviously, his family, historic, you know, the Luck family in college, Oliver Luck, but Harbaugh. Everyone that's around that guy wins. Has he ever? When was the last time he lost? He didn't have double-digit wins in professional football.
His last year with the 49ers.
That one season when everything fell apart with Balky.
It's the Harbaugh family. John Harbaugh's been very successful. Their father was very successful over there in Michigan. Right. And now Jim. I think Jim is the best one out of all of them. I think Jim is so smart. And as an NFL coach, I always said that Jim Harbaugh, if he stayed over there with San Francisco, he would have won a Super Bowl with San Francisco. He walked away from San Francisco because he wanted to win a national championship for his alma mater. That's the only reason why he left San Francisco, because he believed in Kaepernick. And by the way, if he was still there, Kaepernick, with all the stuff that was going on, he would have found a way to keep Colin Kaepernick on that team. I do believe that. Yeah. I absolutely believe
that was Chip Kelly who couldn't handle that. His 1 year with the 49ers.
I'm just saying, if Jim Harbaugh was still there, he would have figured out how to keep Colin Kaepernick still on the San Francisco 49ers, and maybe Colin Kaepernick still has a career right now in the NFL. I'm not just saying. Jim really believed in Colin Kaepernick. He was another guy that kind of the style of type of quarterback that he looks for, a mobile quarterback that throws on the run and can do the things that you expect a quarterback to do. See the field, use the field, and use the players around him. And that's what J.J. McCarthy is. Speaking of stories, this is a mammoth one. The Athletic, Britt Giroli and Alex Andreoff today says that at least 8 Detroit Tiger employees, including 4 vice presidents, have been accused of misconduct towards women since 2023. 7 of the 8 men were accused of mistreating women that work for the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿 Sports and Entertainment, which own the Tigers, Red Wings, and other entertainment companies. 6 of the 8 men either stepped down or were fired, with 2 remaining in power within the organization. Countless reports of sexual advances against women, as well as some age-related discrimination and racial discrimination, are documented from some of 45 sources, according to The Athletic. One male employee says that the dysfunction is in these guys' culture, which with a bunch of guys thinking that they can do whatever they want and get away with it, making it a place where women shouldn't feel safe. Reports say that Sam Menzin, a 34-year-old assistant general manager, stepped down from the team after sending unsolicited photos to multiple women who worked for the team. Ben Fiddleman, who refers the MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred as his uncle, was promoted to vice president after an investigation lasting less than a week. Fiddleman was accused of screaming at women, retaliation, harassment, and basically bullying female employees. Senior Vice President of Communications Ron Colangelo said in defense of Fiddleman. The Athletic may have talked to the 10 or 12 people who were disgruntled, and that's unfortunate. Former broadcasters Cameron Maybin and Craig Monroe were also let go. Maybin was fired for creepy comments towards women, and Monroe being charged with sexual abuse of a minor. The article ended with a current employee's comment: "We have team meetings and they celebrate like everything is going great. Yeah, the team is playing well, but let's be real." Well, let's get into this story, because it's a story that is only going to have more legs to it. This is not over, and I'm sure the investigation is going to find a lot more deeper things in this story. The Detroit Tigers are an organization that's been up and down. How many GMs over the last couple of years have taken over this team and this organization? How much money has been brought or spent in this organization? We've seen so many great players come out from this organization, Justin Verlander being one of them, Miguel Cabrera. How about Jabba Chamberlain being another? There are a lot of great players that have been in and out of this organization. Scherzer being another one as well. You look at organizations over the years, and I'm not saying Detroit's a bad place. I'm not. But if you remember, here in New York, there was a guy that worked for the New York Knicks who played for the Detroit Pistons that took over as president and GM of the New York Knicks, and that is Isaiah Thomas. Do we remember that story? I remember that story very, very much. And Isaiah Thomas had a problem with a bunch of women where there was sexual advancements with these women upstairs, which eventually caused him to lose his job. And we all know James Dolan loved Isaiah Thomas, loved him, but he had to step in and fire him, even though eventually Isaiah Thomas took over the Liberty and I think took over and partially owned the Liberty after that. But nevertheless, when you look at stories like this and the discrimination of women, women right now are important not only in sports, but in politics and the world. And maybe 20 years ago, women were not looked at as an important figures to organizations. But now women are very important, especially the way the world is starting to drive and give women opportunities to move up in corporations, companies, and sports teams. When women look good, the men, the despicable men from these organizations, they're not happy men, not happy married men. They're doing stupid things. They're going behind their wives' backs to disgrunt these women, to solicit these women and hurt these women in some kind of way because they think they have more power. Because in America, the men always had the power. Now women are starting to get the opportunity to have some kind of power. And to me right now, with Rob Manfred and the way Rob Manfred is running the major leagues and the MLB, it bothers me because not only is he changing rules, he's getting guys or people that claim are his nephew jobs, opportunities that they shouldn't get. This guy who probably has no background in sports, has no background in management or any of that magnitude, this guy gets a job. Eventually a vice president job with one of the big major league teams, one of the bigger organizations of professional baseball history. Detroit's been around for almost 100 years. Think about that. And this guy, who I've never even heard of, by the way, I've never heard of Ben Fiddleman, all right? Never, but Fiddler on the Roof, I've heard that. I've heard he likes to fiddle with himself. But when you hear in the investigation of women and harassment, this to me bothers me. We talked about the Mara family. Mara has been very well respected around the league for many, many years. His father, and then him, John and Tish, and the Rooney family, always very well respected. And now all these things and all these stories coming out with, African-American coaches, the Rooney Rule, as we all know, with African-American coaches. And then Mara not controlling certain players on his team with sexual harassment or putting their hands on their wives and leaving it alone and brushing it under the rug. This is, to me, when you look at this and you look at professional sports teams that are very well respected, and I'm not saying Detroit is a very well respected organization, but it's a known organization that has been around for a long, long time. It would bother me to know that you have executives, and I'm not talking about 1 or 2 or 3. You're talking about 10, 12 executives on the panel of these organizations sexually abusing and harassing women. Why would I want to go work there if I was a woman? Why? I got to walk around the offices and worry about a man grabbing my ass? Going and waiting for me to come out of the bathroom so I can make an advancement on him? To me, that would be scary if it was my wife, my girlfriend. If my girlfriend was working for Detroit, she went to school for NYU. She went to school for journalism. If she was writing for Detroit and hanging out over there in Detroit and somebody was advancing on her, what do you think I would do to the man that was trying to advance her and make her feel uncomfortable where she doesn't want to go to work? What do you think I would do to that guy? I'd break his neck. To me, it's uncomfortable to think about why women were never allowed to work in sports. And now women have an opportunity, as well as they should, to be considered general managers. As we all know, Miami had one. Ng over there in Miami. We are now starting to see that we're going to have women managers, women coaches in the NBA in the future. It's going to happen. And now you're looking at the WNBA with Caitlin Clark changing the sports world, one of the more popular players right now in professional sports. Women deserve an opportunity to be respected just like men. And when you have men like this, disgusting, and despicable men like this, and including Cameron Maybin, okay? Now, we reached out to Cameron Maybin years and years ago, and we wanted him to come on the show. And he started following us, and it never happened. He started working for the New York Yankees as a broadcaster, and then eventually moved to Detroit and started working for them. And when you hear a story like this, I don't know Craig Monroe in a hole in the wall, but I know Cameron Maybin. Cameron Maybin, if these stories are true, is a despicable man and doesn't deserve another job in professional sports again. This is a guy that looked at himself as some kind of specific superstar player. Cameron Maybin was a washed-up baseball player that played, 6-7 years in the majors, was a backup player. The Yankees traded for him for 1 year. He did nothing for the New York Yankees. And he was a journeyman. And then finally, teams give him opportunity to be a broadcaster and work with the executives and work with the organization. And you hear the stories that he is looking and making passes on women. Despicable. And why isn't Detroit? Why did this story finally come out? This has been going on for 2-3 years now? It's been going on all this time. And then finally the story comes out. Who's brushing it under the rug? Is it Rob Manfred? Or Manfred, as Jabba calls him? Who's brushing this story under the rug? Detroit is one of the best teams right now in the American League. One of the best teams in baseball. And it's run by a bunch of despicable, disgusting human beings.
Very good. Very well said. It's as disgusting as it gets for you this level. And I knew there was some shadiness going on with the 𝐬𝐻 family with the Red Wings in the past too. Like you're seeing that, you saw that I think in 2018 and 2019 too. I don't know if it was directly a sexism type thing, but there was stuff going on behind the scenes. That's why 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐸 eventually got hired in that front office as well. And now you're seeing it with the Tigers too, with their broadcasters, with guys that are younger too. Like this is behavior that we took shots at the Mets for all their GMs and Mickey Callaway doing all those gross things in the past. And now all of a sudden you're seeing it here with a 34-year-old rising future GM that you're seeing, an assistant GM, like the article was saying, that looked like it was going to be one of the faces of baseball, and he's doing all this crap. And it's disgusting on so many levels. And there's a lot of really good like female employees there, broadcasters, assistant GMs, like you're saying, assistant executives in that front office too, both with the Tigers and with the Red Wings. And I think you see this kind of thing just being a case of just so outdated concepts with all these ownerships. And it's not that I don't think 𝐬𝐻 is really that much of an older owner compared to some of the other owners of baseball, but the outdated concepts are just still there with how these employees are being treated. And you're right. Like, why would anybody want to go over there and want to broadcast or work for that team? And a lot of the younger broadcasters, Andy Dirks, a former player that broadcast with him, Jabba, I think you played with him a little bit. Jason Benetti, who's one of my favorite play-by-play broadcasters, were saying that these are not the values that I ever would have imagined would have been in this organization. And like they were like sickened by the whole thing, that these older guys, and even the one younger guy would be able to do that kind of thing. And Monroe and Maybin, Monroe is a former player. He's probably in his 40s now. And Maybin, like Errol was saying, is I think 38 or so.
He's a despicable man, and he really is. If these stories are true, Cameron Maybin should never get another job again in professional sports.
Nobody involved in that should ever get another.
And Monroe, if he's really doing, and this story is true, this guy should be thrown in jail, and the key should be thrown away. Mm-hmm. If this is true, if this is true that he was trying to hook up with a young lady, underage young lady, this guy should be thrown in jail and never be let out again.
That's Wander Franco-esque if he's doing that, all that kind of thing. I think.
But he did it in the Dominican Republic.
No, I know that. I think he did it with multiple.
This is the United States.
Yeah, it still is. That's the same level of just disturbing behavior that he was doing.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I understand it's the same thing, but it's a different country.
Understood. And you look at, again, cases of this possibly expanding. This is, you said 10 at that right that we know of, and then this is the same company that also owns the Red Wings, who says stuff isn't happening behind the scenes there, that 𝐬𝐻 and this ownership group, I think he passed away recently, but this new ownership group is covering up. And like you said, the league could be covering up too, because both MLB and NHL, while I don't think they're as bad as the NFL when it comes to covering up domestic violence.
Well, we know they like to cover up superstar players situations, as we all know.
Yeah,
there were 2 of them by the old Otano.
Yeah, and you saw,
as Jabba says, there's no proof.
And you saw the NHL
innocent until proven guilty.
And then on the NHL side, you saw that cover up with those 4 players, including Carter Hart and a few others that when they were doing stuff in the OHL and during World Juniors and stuff like that too. So they're going to brush that kind of thing under the rug much more than they should. And it's just a sickening situation. And I feel bad for really.
We still haven't heard the true story about the Chicago Blackhawks.
Right.
I mean, that story really was brushed under the rug by the NHL. And then Quinville gets another job, gets another 2 jobs.
Oh, yeah.
How does that make sense? How does that guy get another job in the NHL after being the head coach when this kid was getting raped by a trainer in their locker rooms, and players knew about it too, and they were getting this, and the teams and all these players got opportunities after the fact when they left the Blackhawks. It's despicable. Why? And I'm telling you right now, I can't wait to see a book come out about that, and maybe a movie come out about that, a documentary, because that story, we still don't know the behind what really happened in those locker rooms and happened with the Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks, have we heard that story in the past year? The story's not even been brought up ever.
No, I think only really just vaguely since Quenneville got
Dude,
hired.
nobody has brought up that story. How could you not bring up a story when a player, a young kid who could have been great, was getting sexually abused by a trainer in the locker room? I don't even know if he was a trainer. He was like something else.
He was a video coach. I think.
Video coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there was a trainer that was under investigation though for being involved in it somehow, and obviously Quenneville is the one that covered it up, like you saw.
They all covered it up.
Yeah, at Penn State,
the GM,
the scandal
there
too.
one of the player personnel, one of the managers of player personnel was obviously suspended and fired. I mean, everybody should have been fired from that organization, and owners should have been. They should have lost a ton of draft picks. Mm-hmm. They should have lost a ton of
Instead, they still get
picks.
Rewarded with top 3 picks for whatever reason.
I don't get it. I'm sorry, and I went off topic over here, but Jabba, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I mean it's weird how long like some of this takes. Obviously, there's the due diligence that you have to do because you can't put it in front of anything. But when it comes to women and kids, it's a little different. Seen it firsthand where it's affected people's careers when even if they were found innocent, but they were tied to, something where you don't see it, the other way around. And it's just, I mean, it sucks. There's no space for that. I don't care in baseball and in any workplace for anybody to feel uncomfortable, men, women, whatever. There's no space for that. And I hope, I know there's obviously instances where they're, trying to protect their career, but obviously the advances in whatever way, shape, or form, and they just kind of push to the side. But I think it's, first of all, it's disrespectful. First of all, it's asinine to even think that's okay, especially in the workplace. And it's just, I understand that some people will see it differently than other people will. Like, I always find this interesting, and I'd like to get your guys' take on it too. Like, understand that there's women reporters, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I get out of the shower after a game. That's my office. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not trying to obviously do anything to make you feel uncomfortable, but if I'm drying off and my towel falls, like, I'm not doing it it's just, I've always thought there's a very thin line. Because obviously you have to respect them because they're doing a job, but at the same time, you're in my office. And I've always thought it's like, obviously they're doing a job respecting and they're professional about it. I'm not saying they aren't, but it's just some people can misconstrue like certain things, which it's tough, but you can't put yourself in that situation first and foremost. And if it gets drug out forever, and we've seen instances like this that are disgusting, where they get drug out. And for these individuals that it happens to, it's more that they have to hold on to. And mind you, is going to solve the anguish and pain and whatever they have to deal with? No, it's not gonna solve it. It's not gonna magically make it disappear. But it's somebody standing up for what is right and figuring out like really what happened. Is this going to take 2 years where they got to fight their tails off for whatever happened for it to come out, or does it get drawn out long enough to where it kind of, like you said with the black, like you haven't heard about it, so it's like, you know, sight unseen, right? And so if you haven't heard about it, it's like, oh, and then something comes up. Yeah, exactly. And it sucks because there's so much evil in this world, as we've seen.
That's a pretty good picture, by the way.
that is great. Where you hope that the good can prevail in all of this with everything that goes on, and people would just wake up and be like, hey, we know what's right and wrong. Like, have we all done stupid shit? Yes, we have. We've all been there. For somebody to say they haven't, they're a bold-faced liar. But there's certain stupidity to what level it is. And it's just, you know, hopefully they figure it out, because it, for those families and for those individuals, it sucks, men and women.
Yeah, Jabba, I see your scenario too. Like, well, obviously there's a level of journalistic integrity that has to be like giving the players the privacy and stuff like that, like you were saying. And I think that comes to a point of just like mass journalism of just wanting to get the story out first instead of actually doing it right. And then everyone's rushing just to be the first one to break it. And those kind of things that happen too. And I think in this instance, you're looking at more with sexually. And again, I don't know the ages of the people that were victimized by
But
this
Speedy, this has been going on for years. And now finally it's breaking, and people are starting to realize
it started of like 2023, right?
2023, and now we're going into 2026. What do we have? 3 more months, and it's 2026.
Yeah, but think about too. The Fish brought up a great thing. Like, how long did the gymnastics thing take? You know, like,
well,
and that's the crazy part, because and I've always played devil's advocate, and so if these do come out and they're whatever they are. If it comes to find out that these aren't true, like, accusations, why does nothing ever happen to that person? Like, we've seen it one time happen, and that was Duke Lacrosse.
But Jabba, if you're looking at it, it's not just one woman. This is
I'm not saying it is. Yeah,
It's
but that's fine. And I've seen it affect people's lives to where they were innocent, but it was related to a woman, and they never got an opportunity again, and they were proven innocent.
But Jabba, again, I'm sorry to cut you off, but if this happened 15 years ago, these guys don't get in trouble. They don't get in trouble because women aren't respected as much as they're respected now in the industry. And I believe women should have been respected 15, 20 years ago.
But it shouldn't be an industry thing. And I understand you're thinking industry. This should be like, it's not an industry thing. This is life. Like, you don't treat women like that. That is just the way it is. It doesn't so happen that it's just now everybody can catch stuff on camera, or now it's hearsay, and it's now you're guilty until proven innocent. And sometimes that doesn't even matter. And we built this country on innocent until proven guilty. But now we protect until we actually know really what's going on. I've seen it happen in high school. I've seen it happen in college. I've seen it happen professionally, where before this comes out, like, why even create this story until you know all the details? Whether that takes 2 or 3 years, it prevents us from having this conversation, because now if they say that it's been an ongoing investigation for 4 years, we found out exactly this is the document, these are the emails, this is the text message. Now we have nothing to say or speculate.
But this is the media. The media does this all the time. They're trying to.
I'm not saying they don't. But what I'm saying is,
I got what you're saying. I understand. They shouldn't be.
They're doing this because,
I understand.
And I hate it. I hate it for not only the victims but everybody in the whole situation. It sucks, because whether it's true, whether it's not, like, this affects everybody. Not only affects the people directly involved, but indirectly involved.
But let me ask you a question. All right, so I understand what you're saying, and
because you're attacking a man's character without actually knowing what happened.
But here's the thing: why are they resigning? Why are they resigning if they thought they were innocent? Why are they getting fired if they thought they were innocent? If they're saying and they're standing up for the whole story behind it, then they'll say, listen, I don't know anything about this. This is not true. This is untrue. Why are they resigning? I think what was it, Fish? 5 of them resigned.
6 of them, actually, and 3 within a 6-month span.
So think about that. If you're resigning, you're guilty. That's the way I look at it. I wouldn't resign. I'm not resigning. If I feel that I'm not guilty, prove it. Prove that I'm not guilty. Prove that I'm guilty. That's what I'm going to say. Guilty until proven. So you don't have anything because I know for a fact I didn't do anything. So to me, that tells me they're guilty. I understand what you're saying. Fire me, and then I'm going to sue your ass. I'm going to sue you for everything you own. Look at John Gruden. Look what John Gruden went through. John Gruden knows he did what he did. Not sexually, racism, the racism text messages and emails that he was posting. But it was told to him that wouldn't come out. Why was his name only brought out when there were 80 other people on those emails? But was brought out. And that's why he won the case. Even though we believe he was guilty, that hurt him. He's never going to get a coaching job. Oh, maybe he will in the future. We'll see if it gets brushed under the rug. But nevertheless, everybody else was racist and said what they felt about the whole situation. But he was the one that got burnt. He was the one that lost his job. He is the one that right now doesn't have a job with ESPN, CBS, or any of those organizations or NFL organizations. So he got
he's doing just fine, by the way.
I know. He just won a lot of money. But I'm just saying. Well,
that too, but he's still getting paid handsomely by none of those people.
No, I got it. And I understand, but wouldn't you want to be a coach in the NFL? You loved it. And John Gruden always said that he's a lifer. He wants to die being a head coach in the NFL or college football. He got interviewed for a couple college football teams, and they didn't hire him. He was probably an easy hire, and he didn't get hired. So,
Errol, I get it. If I'm John Gruden, like I can't get away from coaching football, and I only get a couple of $1,000. I don't get a couple of $1 million to do it. It's just, well, we get some things. We don't get anything that's that great. But look, Manfred is involved in this story because the guy that has not stepped down is a guy who refers to Manfred as his uncle, that got him this job when he was 21 years old with the Detroit Tigers. This Fiddleman or Fiddlesticks or whatever it is.
Well, he's probably fiddling with his own sticks.
Just females.
Hopefully it's just his own and not someone else.
These aren't just females coming forwards. I thought
I'm losing my mind right now.
Well, the story is kind of terrible to all the people around him. Men reported, like dozens of men were involved in the 45 people that came out against these people. And Fiddleman was the one that had the most people against him. And that's the one that's connected to Manfred. I think there's a little bit of smoke and fire behind.
And again, you keep freezing. I don't know what's going on with your side. You're freezing here and there, but I'm just saying, and I agree with you. Rob Manfred, he needs to speak. Hey, listen, Adam Silver today spoke about Kawhi Leonard. We're not going to talk about it today, but he came out finally to speak up about the whole Kawhi Leonard thing. Now, again, you want the commissioner to come out and speak for the organizations or the owners of those organizations because you want him to. He's working for those organizations. Rob Manfred or Freed is working for the owner of the Detroit Tigers. And he hired, his so-called nephew is working for those Detroit Tigers. And like Aaron was saying, Fish was saying, he's saying that when there's smoke, it's going to cook, baby. And that's what's going on. Rob Manfred is not speaking up. He's hiding, and he's letting this guy keep his job. How is this guy keeping his job? And other people are resigning and stepping down or getting fired. And the only reason why is because, quote unquote, his uncle is Rob Manfred. So I agree with Fish. I think there's got to be some kind of smoke behind this. And Rob Manfred, how much time does he have left before it
expires in 2028?
So 2028. So we got to deal with Rob Manfred for another 3 more years? We got to deal with this idiot for another 3 more years? I mean, that's scary to think about that. And I know a lot of people don't want to, and I don't know Rob Manfred in a hole in the wall. I don't know him personally. Maybe I'll like the guy. If I sat down and had a conversation with him, maybe me and him would get along. We could be pals. I don't know. But what I'm hearing about him as a person, that I'm reading these stories, It's not good for baseball. It's not good when your commissioner is getting guys that are 21 years old hired for an organization that has been a failing organization. When was the last time Detroit won a World Series?
84.
84. 𝐿𝐵𝐿 was on those teams. Justin Verlander, Scherzer, Miguel Cabrera, Hall of Famers were on those teams. They've been to World Series and never get over the hump. And they're hiring this guy, Fiddleman, who's never been a manager, has never worked with a professional team because his uncle is Rob Manfred. Come on, guys. If you put 2 and 2 together, you can honestly understand. If you're playing chess, you would know that somebody's the queen and somebody's the pawn. And the pawn is Fiddleman, and the queen, which is the most important, piece on the board, is Rob Manfred.
That's why it's about who you know, not what you know.
It's also a case of special treatment that he's giving this guy for whatever reason, just because, he hired him at 21 years old. No, this guy did gross things to women that should never have happened. Why is he all of a sudden keeping his job when 6 other guys resigned? 7, they took accountability for it. Another guy got suspended, and this guy gets to keep his job because he's just attached to Ron Manfred? No.
It would bother me. And again, if you're a baseball fan and you're hearing, maybe you're a Detroit Tiger fan, and I love what Detroit's doing. They can win the World Series this year. Could you imagine this story coming out and Detroit goes all the way to the World Series and wins the World Series for the first time since 1984? How bad this will look for baseball if they come out and they win a World Series, and this story even gets worse. I mean, think about it. That could be really bad for baseball. Really bad for baseball. So it would be.
How are they going to win with this story, though? Like, that's the thing that I wanted to
going to the playoffs right now.
They're obviously a playoff team.
How many people you think know about the story, though? Really, honestly.
Well, I mean, now that the New York Times, The Athletic published it, a lot of people know.
I want to say something. And now, I know Brittany a little bit. All right. She's been on this show. Giroli has been on this show before. And when she came on the show, she was working for the Nationals. And I went back and forth with her about Scherzer. She told me when the Mets brought him in, he said this guy is must see. He's still a great pitcher. He's going to bring wins to the New York Mets. The guy never gets hurt. This guy is a great Samaritan, great teammate. And what happens when he goes to the Mets? He gets overpaid. He gets hurt. Can't stay on the field. The Pine Tar story. He's fighting with umpires. He's fighting with teammates. It didn't work. And we reached out to Brittany Giroli to come on the show again. And what did she do? Nothing. She hid. She didn't want to come on the show. You know why she didn't want to come on the show? Because she knew that if she came on this show, I'm dropping the damn hammer on her. Because I know what happened. She attacked me. She told me that I was stupid to even call Max Scherzer an overrated player. At the time, he was overrated. He wasn't the same pitcher. And he got paid what? Like
$43 million.
$43 million, the highest contract in baseball history for a pitcher who was washed up at 37, 38 years old. And I said, he's a washed up player. Brittany, you can't tell me that this guy is going to go to New York and pitch well. Oh, you don't know the family. He's a family man. And he's going to go out there and he's going to show the Met fans what winning is. He won a World Series. He was a big part of those World Series teams. And what did he do? He had the Pine Tar. He was bitching and moaning. He wasn't getting along with players in the dugout. Then they brought in Justin Verlander. And Verlander, who, Jabba, you're very good friends with. There were stories coming out that him and Verlander weren't getting along. I mean, think about that. Think about the stories. But no, Giroli. Where are you, Britt? Come on the show. Come on the show and tell me that I was wrong about Max Scherzer. Just say.
Yeah, I love Britt. She was great. I got to know her when she was with Baltimore.
Yeah, so that was the basis. Like, she was working with the Orioles and Nationals before that.
Jabba, I'm not saying I don't like her. I'm not saying.
I could give two shits if you like her or not.
I'm just saying.
I'm still going to sleep well at night.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying I don't like her. But if you're going to come out and you're going to attack me on the show and tell me I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about, and then when I made my points right, and then you don't, hey, you know what? You don't want to come on the show. You don't want to speak about it. You're ducking and weaving it. To me, that just tells me you're running from the truth. You're running from what you are. You're a reporter. Speak about it. Argue about it. Or even come on the show and say, Errol, you were right. Thank you. You were right about it. That's all I'm
I
saying.
think you're an idiot, and I still come on the show.
Well, thank you.
On a side note, leave it to the Mets to get a consistently durable pitcher hurt twice in that same season.
Well, stupid is a stupid.
I mean, up to that point, he had been durable, though.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, leave it to come to the Mets to have two. He pitched
Just
well that
saying.
year when he was healthy.
I'm just saying I was right at the time.
The wheels fall off eventually for everybody,
Does the wheels fall off? That's for sure. Anyways, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. We call this the deuce of the day.
The deuce of the day.
You log. Not a log. I don't have a log, but
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my deuce of the day goes to the one and only Angel Reese as the story gets bigger. Oh, you guys are going to love this. Post moves Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston. Oh, you guys are going to love this. So Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston, two WNBA players, came out and attacked Angel Reese. You have to protect your team and your organization, no matter how you feel, Parker said. Adding, there were so many bumpy rides with the Sparks that I've had. And I think the best advice I've ever received is keep things in-house. You can yell, scream, cuss, do all of those things in between these walls, but you can't bring it out, the former two-time WNBA MVP and three-time champion said. To me, Angel Reese, and by the way, Angel Reese recently was, she wasn't allowed to play in the first half of a game. And then she decided after the first half, she wasn't going to be playing the second half of the game. She decided to not come out with the team and sit in the locker room and not come out with the team and play the rest of the game. And it just shows you the type of person she is. This is a woman that's has a huge Reebok deal with Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson. They trusted enough to put everything on her shoulders, and a girl that's very well respected, was very well respected in the WNBA. And then the stories come out even worse when she's throwing her own teammates under the bus. And now you have WNBA players, some of the most well-respected ex-WNBA players coming out in Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston and throwing you under the bus and saying, you don't come out, you don't throw teammates under the bus, you keep it in-house. It only tells me one thing. When is she going to get traded? Does any other team want Angel Reese? After dealing with what she said about Caitlin Clark, as she's thrown Caitlin Clark under the bus, she's thrown many different players, including her own teammates, under the bus. What does this spell for the WNBA? What does this spell for Angel Reese in the future as a WNBA player? It only spells nothing but havoc for her. So my deuce of the day goes to Angel Reese and her stupidity on throwing her own teammates under the bus and not keeping it in-house. So that would be the deuce of the day. And it's getting worse. The stories are getting worse because she is becoming a conceited, egotistical maniac, and she doesn't want to take responsibility for all the things that she is doing on and off the court. All right. When we come back, we got Fish's Play of the Week. We got Speedy Six-Pack. We got Save Your Tears. We got a lot. And we also have our guest. And a little bit later, we have ESPN NFL Nation's Giants reporter Jordan Raanan on as well. But first, the Fish.
3, 2, 1. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute.
All right, guys. Aaron Fishman here with your Sports Minute. Got a few stories before we get into the scores this evening. The Minnesota Wild are out in the wilderness with the rest of the NHL on Wednesday as a report emerged that superstar forward Kirill Kaprizov turned down an 8-year, $128 million deal, which would have been the richest in hockey history. Wild GM Bill Guerin declined comment after talks fell through on Tuesday. Kaprizov is in the last year of his 5-year, $45 million deal and could possibly become the biggest name traded in this year's trade deadline, and maybe the games last year due to injury would be a catastrophic loss for the Minnesota Wild and their future if he doesn't resign. Guerin, who's also the GM of Team USA Hockey all season. And we have Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill in the news again for not the right reasons again. Apparently, Hill's estranged wife alleged in court filings for the former couple's divorce hearings that were obtained by TMZ, of course, that he has committed 8 separate incidents of domestic violence against his soon-to-be ex-wife, 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭. Hill's attorney is calling it part of a shakedown and an attempt to generate bad media coverage. Hill has been no stranger to trouble, dating back to his college days when it was alleged that he committed assault and battery to his pregnant girlfriend. Offenses leading to his arrest before week 1 of the 2024 season, and a pair of strange incidents in 2023 when he slapped a marina worker upside his head when asking Hill to simply follow the rules of the marina, and breaking a social media influencer's leg and pick up football in his backyard, trying to put press coverage on her. For Tyreek Hill, there has always been a lot of smoke, but he has always ran so fast and no one ever saw the fire. Maybe after all these years, somebody finally will, and put it out and give the cheetah a reality check he could sorely use. In baseball this evening, the Tigers have a 2-0 lead on the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It is going into the bottom of the 6th inning there. 1-1 in the bottom of the 8th in Baltimore with the Orioles and the Pirates. Nationals 3. The Phillies all over the Mets again, 8-1 in the top of the 7th. It's bottom 7. The Astros have a 2-0 lead on the Blue Jays up in Toronto. It's 3-2 Cubs over the Braves in the top of the 6th. It's 6-2 White Sox over the Rays in the top of the 5th. No score in the top of the 2nd between the Padres and still to come tonight, Mariners and Cardinals, Dodgers and Rockies. And earlier today, the Rangers beat the Brewers 6-3. Athletics beat the Red Sox 5-4. Diamondbacks over the Giants 5-3. And Angels over the Twins 4-3. Guys, we're streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on our Jabba in the Mouth handle, on Facebook under the Worldwide Sports Radio Network handle, and on Twitter under our host handle at @ErrolMarks34. Keep downloading on Apple Podcasts and watch us both there and on Spotify, now in video. Make sure to like and subscribe to all the shorts, reels, TikToks, and longer videos that you see from us throughout the week. Now back to Errol, Jabba, and Speedy for our next segment on Jabba and the Mouth.
Any questions?
What is this? We're back. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Show.
Breaking news. A lot of hot ladies. Breaking news. You want to jerk me off? Breaking news. I am a legend.
631-672-3108 is the number to call. You know what we're doing. You know what we're dancing. I could dance this song. I love Dr. Dre. I like a little Eminem. I like The Chronic. You're listening to Jabba in the Mouth. I'm Errol Marks. My co-host, Jabba Chamberlain. Speedy Petey. Executive producer, Mr. Aaron Fishman. Yes, Tommy Poops is in the studio. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba and the Mouth, every single Mondays and now Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are brought to you by Omaha Steaks. And ladies and gentlemen, they're giving an extra 10% off on all their orders to all Jabba in the Mouth fans. Just click the link, www.omahasteaks.com/Jabba in the Mouth, or go to our website at worldwidesportsradio.com and click on the Omaha Steaks logo. Oh, what a day. What a show. What a nasty segment we just had. And Jabba doesn't like me. He thinks I'm a dumbass. I'm just kidding. He calls me an idiot. I believe I'm a little bit of an idiot. And Jabba's a little bit of an idiot too. And Fish is a moron and Speedy plays with himself. There you go.
Carl plays with
himself. Hey, you said you like Eminem and you like documentaries. Did you see the Stands one on Netflix?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Did you see the Eminem documentary Stands on Netflix?
No, I haven't seen it yet. And I'm definitely going to check that out.
I haven't seen it either.
I watched
it's not what you expect, but it's really good.
You know what I can't wait for to come out is the series 𝐬𝐿, the serial killer. That's coming out. I'm actually a big fan of the actor that plays 𝐬𝐿. It's actually 𝐬𝐿 is probably one of the most prolific serial killers of all time that nobody knows about.
Is that Leatherface?
Yes. Well, that's
Yep.
what they called him, Leatherface.
Yeah.
But it's a great. Well, it's not a great story, but it's an interesting story. I got a chance for years. I study serial killers. It's something interesting to me. So 𝐬𝐿 is one of those guys that people never heard of. I mean, Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy. The big names, Jeffrey Dahmer. But 𝐬𝐿.
Okay. What about the one in Nebraska? Come on, you got to give us some love. You're going to talk about serial killers.
Okay, which one is that? You?
Starkweather.
I'm just kidding.
They called him the Great Cornholio.
Yeah. Kim, you want to talk about serial killers? You didn't drop Starkweather in there?
Starkweather. All right, let's talk about Starkweather. You want to talk about him? Why don't we do a documentary and you be the voice of the guy that hosts the documentary? Starkweather by Chopper Chamberlain.
I could do that too for sure.
Through
Next on stage, Felicia, followed by Diamond. Ladies and gentlemen, get your dollars out. It's dollar dance time.
Well, we know Jabba goes to strip bars.
No, not anymore. No. Hey, but documentaries, did you see The Unknown Number?
No. Oh, what are you talking about?
Oh, boy.
Which one?
It's called The Unknown Number. It's about a mom that, I don't want to give it away, but you have to, look it up. Unknown Number. It's a mom that, for years is basically texting her daughter. And
we watched this yesterday. The catfish thing. Oh, yes. My God.
Where is it? Where do you find it? Netflix?
Yeah, it's a Netflix one. It was number one.
I believe so.
Dude.
I'll check it out.
You can't spoil it. You can't spoil it.
No, you have to. It's the twist and turns and the stuff that she this is to her daughter.
It's a whodunit catfish.
Oh, I got it, definitely.
It's
a whodunit catfish, and it's not what you expect at all. There's no way you could figure it.
Huh,
yeah, no way.
Interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we call this Fish's Play of the Week.
This is great. Takes it up
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Fish's Play of the Week.
𝐿𝐵, smack my ass.
All right, guys. Welcome to my Play of the Week. This is what we're going to do during the NFL season. We'll get Errol up here so he can literally be the peanut gallery hitting sound effects and hazing me while I'm doing this for all of you. I'm picking my favorite play that I saw. Not the best play necessarily of the week or the coolest catch. The coolest coaching play. The coolest X's and O's. And we're going to Errol's favorite coach in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan, for this week's Play of the Week. So you may have seen this. This was during the game, later in the game, Purdy back, empty, sends him out, or not empty, but 4 receivers, sends him out, and all of a sudden, why is Kyle Juszczyk uncovered down the sideline? How does that happen in the NFL? How can you get a guy that open, Kyle Shanahan? Well, here is Fish's Play of the Week.
Snatch.
Here's the first thing he does. If you take a look, he motions out the running back to the left to make them go into trips. You see, you got Kittle there at tight end, or whoever was in a tight end at that point. So you got 3 receivers that way. If you're playing what Shanahan assumes they're playing, which is cover 4 on one side, cover 2 on the other side, I call it 42. This is kind of a 2-over man look over here on the other side. But you have a guarantee of what you're going to get. So now Shanahan has got them all thinking what they want. Going into the next thing where we get the next bit of information pre-snap, you're going to see him go the other way with that motion. So this is going to be a traditional jet sweep motion to the receiver. He's coming back across, so they bounce back down. But now Shanahan has him. He knows what he has on the side of the field he wants. He's got macho coverage or press man coverage on the wide receiver. And he's got over-top coverage from the safety who's going to be playing deep. And that flat guy is going to have to play Deebo Samuel coming across. Watch what he does with Kyle Juszczyk on this next play to get him so open. It is unbelievably smart. People were talking about this all over the internet. What's in red says the word chip. He sends Juszczyk to chip the defensive end, hiding him from the linebackers. The linebackers have to take the vertical drop on the far side of the field. There are literally 3 people covering the outside receiver on the far side of the field, and now Shanahan has him outnumbered. He's got man coverage, and he's going to just send that guy deep, occupying another 2 guys. And now the one flat guy is going to be on Deebo Samuel. Who's left for Kyle Juszczyk? The answer, everybody, nobody is left for Kyle Juszczyk. He's going to run right by him. You see the defenders, 2 guys on this guy, 3 defenders at the top doing nothing. This is how you get guys open. This is why you win Fish's Play of the Week. And look at Brock Purdy holding the safety. That safety's back is turned to Kyle Juszczyk. He's the only person that can cover him on this play. So what does it end up being? Wide open. Look how much space he has. You don't get space like that in college, let alone the NFL, unless it's a busted coverage. This wasn't a busted coverage. This was scheme. This was the play of the week.
I don't care.
The only question I have is how did Deebo Samuel get from the Commanders game to the 49ers game? That's pretty impressive.
Well, different guy, but it's all good.
I hope not.
It was the Deebo roll, though, right? It looked like they were just using the Deebo roll. And Shanahan's smart, man. That's why some guys, you don't see it. Maybe they're bad at other parts of coaching, but he was able to get a guy completely open in the NFL at a key point of a game.
Never going wrong.
Kyle Juszczyk is that much of a stud. He's the only fullback that could probably do that.
I gave up the booty there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we call this tic-tac. No. Boom.
Morris, right in the butt.
We get the prizes cheap because they're stolen.
No. One soda.
I will not adhere to that.
Juan Soda's a bitch.
I like that Juan Soda one.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. All right, well, since Fitz brought up the 49ers before, we'll actually start with that, but we're going to start it a little bit in a college football part of it. So Florida's obviously lost to USF. We were talking about that on Monday. And the last one that they lost to, that was a group of 5 team, was a Georgia Southern team.
Cooch.
That had 2 49ers running backs that were on the 49ers' first Super Bowl team. Name one of those guys.
Oof. I'm sorry, repeat the question again?
So the Georgia Southern team was the last team to beat Florida. They were an unranked opponent, group of 5 opponent. They had 2 running backs that were actually on the 49ers, their first Super Bowl team that lost to the Chiefs. Name one of these running backs.
Tevin Coleman.
Nope. He played for Indiana.
I'm sorry, Speedy. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. I was behind.
Frank Gore. It's not Frank Gore. No.
Being an idiot on that last segment. I actually do need you to tell me the question one more time.
So there were 2 running backs that were on the 49ers' first Super Bowl appearance that lost to the Chiefs. Kyle Shanahan was there in 2019. That were on the Georgia Southern team that were the last team to beat Florida, a group of 5 team before USF did. So name one of those 2 running backs. On that
one of the 2 running backs on that team that lost to the Chiefs.
Yes. Tommy guessed Tevin Coleman was wrong. Errol guessed Frank Gore. That was wrong.
I forgot that Frank Gore didn't play for Georgia.
No. Georgia Southern.
At that point either.
Oh. Tommy, can you make the music a little lower? There's no way I can figure it out.
Bring
You're
Nathan
gonna get me. Yeah, what's Nathan doing? Nathan definitely knows the answer to this.
Wait, okay, what was the question?
All right. So
you probably interviewed him.
So
breaking news. I need Brittany also.
There were 2 running backs from the 2013 Georgia Southern team that were on the 2019 Super Bowl team for the 49ers that lost to the Chiefs the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Were on that team. 2 different running backs that were on that team. You just need to name one of them.
On the 2019 team?
On the 2019 49ers, yes.
Yum yum. Butt plug. Hold on. I love Lisa Ann. Whoa, was it Groba?
Who the heck were the running backs on that team? I can't even think of one. My brain.
I'm going to say Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs, did you say?
Right, changed it to the 2012 49ers.
Oh, 2012. Sorry. No. Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't he a Saluki?
I just realized you said 2019. That's it.
You know, one of the running backs. I can't go anymore.
No,
I'll give you my guess, Tommy.
All right. Oh, did you give me his guess? Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm gonna say Raheem Mostert.
No.
Oh.
It's a good guess.
No.
It's a good guess, Tommy. That's right. They had Mostert, and who was the other guy that they had?
Coleman. That's why I thought it was gonna be.
No, it's not gonna be Coleman.
Coleman was another guy that was on that team.
Blow my back out.
But he didn't.
2019 running back for the Niners. I know.
All right, we're out. Speedy, let's move it along.
out.
What do you got?
So one of them was actually injured that season, but he got a big contract. Was Jerick McKinnon, and then the other one was a guy that was a future Giant, Matt Breida.
I was gonna.
Breida. Breida. I
Oh
remember
my
that
God.
now. That's a good one, Speedy. All right, Speedy, where are we going? Middle.
We're gonna go middle.
Damn, I thought I had it.
All right, so we'll go to some baseball for the next one. So the Orioles broke up the Dodgers no hitter in the ninth inning with 2 outs, and then ended up rallying to win the game. There's actually one player since 2016 that has broken up two no-hit bids in the ninth inning. He's a shortstop that currently plays. He did it once in 2016, once last year, and he's an active shortstop. Name this player.
AL or NL?
AL right now. He was NL in 2016. I'll give you that.
Corey Seager.
Oh no.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking Corey Seager.
Is that who it was?
Yep. That's the first thing that popped into my head. I was going to say Texas Rangers. Who's the shortstop for the Texas Rangers?
Yeah, let's go.
Is that in the Dodgers, right?
Dodgers.
With the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
They were playing the Giants that time.
As soon as he said he used to be in the National League and now he's in the American League, the first thing that popped in my head was who's the shortstop? I forgot. And then he said Corey Seager. I was like, that's exactly.
And then last year was actually against Valdez for early in the season against the Astros.
He was like my first dynasty player in my league, and I was on him like in the minor leagues. That guy is awesome.
Is that your cucumber, or are you happy to see me?
My fantasy team name that year was the Seager Bullet Club.
There you go.
Championship
Very
winning
good.
team.
Very good. Very good. All right, let's move on to a little.
This is a grumpy old man.
A little basketball here. So Carmelo Anthony recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. He had the freshman record, averaging 20.1 points per game during his title run with Syracuse. The only other freshman to average 20 points per game on a team that made the national championship game was what? Future NBA MVP.
So freshman that averaged 20?
Yep.
Freshman.
He averaged, I believe, 20.8. This was a team that made the national championship game. They did not win, but they made it. And then he won an NBA MVP.
MVP. I'm trying to say it's off my lips. I'm
All right, I'm probably wrong, but is it Chris Webber?
Nope.
Damn. Because they were
Like,
Fab Five,
super-
you know.
Not still playing?
I will verify that, but I don't think so.
Won an MVP.
I think I know who this is, and I actually was wearing his sweatshirt on Monday.
No, he did not play last season.
So
He's not.
retired
Derrick
recently.
Rose.
Yep, you got it, John. I got it.
Oh, nice.
I was a huge D Rose fan.
He was great.
Oh my
Love
I need
They're putting his number in the rafters this year too.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw that video.
I
Jabba,
want
where are we going, man?
Top left. I like because we can put it right on Speedy's face, right in his mouth.
I want to hit it.
Okay, so we'll
Top
go to,
left, or you mean right here?
We'll go to some football.
Yeah, no, top left. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Yep.
here we go.
Perfect.
You want the smothered right on my face and right near Goody.
Yep.
Oh, and the blue blazer right in the vicinity.
Yeah. Oh, right there.
By the way, Derrick Rose did not win the national championship.
Hey, saying runner up.
I said
Right.
one. I said
Yeah,
Do you
he
remember
got
what
there.
team?
Missed a couple of foul shots, if I remember
Memphis.
correctly.
Kansas. That was my first bracket I ever did. I had them that year.
Breaking news. A lot of hot ladies.
They blew that game. I remember that game.
All right, we'll go to some football now. So the Bills obviously won a 41-40 thriller against the Ravens in Week 1. They actually had 2 games like that last year where both teams scored 40 points. And they were both NFC teams they played against. Name both those teams.
The Bills?
40 points,
So
both
Bills
NFC
played
teams.
them, and both teams scored 40 points in both those games. They were
I'm
both
gonna say
against
one of these
NFC
teams are the Lions.
Lions is one. That is correct. There was one other.
All right.
It's
So,
gonna
Tom,
be somebody like we're not gonna think of. An NFC team.
NFC team.
So I think the way we do this is if you guess and you guess it right, you get to guess a second time. But if there's only one left, obviously only one guess. So
Yeah, only
Tommy
one
should be able to. Tommy should be able to go again. Is all I'm saying. But no, everyone else has one guess.
Has to guess first. Everyone else has to
Yep.
guess.
All right, so who else did they play? So if they played the Lions, that means they played the NFC North. So it has to be an NFC North team by process of elimination. The Bears sucked all hell, so I'm going to say it was the Packers.
It's not the Packers.
Well, it's process of elimination.
It's not the Vikings.
Really? So
Vikings?
Okay, so it's not the NFC North.
Oh wow.
I don't know.
Isn't that how it works, though? They play
How is
2
it not-
games.
Not since they added the extra game, though. So there's one extra team.
There's
in the
one
division. The Lions
extra
were that
team.
Breaking news. Smell my ass.
I don't know what that division.
Breaking
is.
news.
What team that is.
Speedy.
Well, you know it's not from the NFC North.
No.
Breaking news. I have no
And I'm going to throw this out there, Speedy. It wasn't the New York Giants.
patty kick.
Oh, but the Giants could have easily beaten the Bills. That was that Darren Waller maybe should have been catch game.
My dog wants your pussycat.
When was the last time a Giant scored
Commanders.
40 points?
I think it was
Vietnam?
like-
Was it the
That barely had any.
was it the Eagles?
No. Irrelevant. No, it wouldn't have been the Eagles. Irrelevant.
Who's still got a guess left?
Jabba
I'm
and
out.
Enjoy.
I said Commanders.
He said Commander.
Commanders is not. No, it wasn't. All right, Nathan, you got the last guess. I never heard of the skin.
No, I guessed already.
What did you say?
I said the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. No. Oh, I think you referred to the Eagles for the Giants. My bad.
No.
It wasn't the Eagles.
Was it the
either.
Buccaneers?
Nope. Okay. So who was it?
All right, you get it.
It was the Rams.
Oh, Rams.
The Rams. Okay, McVay.
99% of the world won too. The Rams won
All right,
that
Speedy.
42. All right, so I will go. Let's go bottom left. Potentially harmful.
All right, there we go. Next question.
All right, we'll go back to some baseball here. Who is the blood? Kyle Schwarber obviously hitting 50 home runs this season. One of the older players to do it. Who was the youngest player to do it? Who did it at 23 years old?
What was the question? Jim?
Youngest player to hit 50 home runs in a season who did it at 23 years old.
A-Rod?
Nope. He did have a bunch of them though. He had multiple 50 seasons, but he was not.
Damn.
I'm gonna guess. Yeah. What do you got?
It's one or it's one of two people, and
I'm going to name them. Ready? I'm going to take a guess.
Yep.
Mark McGuire.
Nope.
McGuire hit
it's
49.
It's
in
one of
that
these
season.
two, and I'm gonna be
Rookie season.
pissed. Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder is correct. Very good. What's your
Yeah.
My other one was Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard was pretty young too. I think he was third youngest.
Cleans themselves.
Yeah.
I think he was the third youngest because it was his second year in the league, but I think he was 24 technically.
Daily lives.
So Prince was a little younger.
Yeah, it was. I knew it was one of those two, and I'm like, ugh. I
Job
almost
of the
went
strategy. Look at the strategy you came up with here.
Yeah.
Now we have a two-way go on Speedy. Pretty good. Speedy, you got your work cut out for you. Keep it coming.
All right. So we'll go
How
back.
about a bareback?
We'll go back to basketball here. So Dwight Howard is credited with having the most dunks in NBA history. Recently
it like
also
your
inducted into
boys?
the Hall of Fame. Since dunks became a stat in 1996. Shaq is second on the list. Which player that it was currently active as of last season is third?
Blake Griffin.
Nope.
In dunks?
Dunks. Since the stat was credited in 1996.
Russell Westbrook?
Nope.
It's going to be a center that can't shoot and just dunks everything.
oh, Steven Adams.
Nope.
What do you think he jerks off with?
Side
What
note,
if
did you see the
it's-
new stat in basketball?
Me and you.
Yeah, it was brought in as a formal thing in 1996, so it wouldn't be like.
Would you stick a finger in his
Last year, you said?
The guy just he played last year. I don't think he officially retired, but I think he's a free agent. But he's on that team right now. He is goofy.
Is it Andre Drummond?
Nope.
He's a crybaby.
Because he can't shoot at all, and I figured
That's why I was. That's why I went Steven Adams. I was like, oh
Yeah.
Oh,
Drummond would fit that profile that you just described.
I hope not.
Drove Mercedes Benz.
They call me the ladies' man and Mr. Steal Your Girl.
All right, Nathan, you're the last one left.
What do you got, Nith?
Wait, Fitz, you went? Or
Yeah, I was wrong.
news.
I said Andre Drummond.
I'm gonna Ram Jam.
There's got to be someone who's better than that.
Breaking news.
Speedy, I don't know.
Breaking news. I need Brittany also.
Yeah, nothing.
Nope.
Breaking news.
All right, Tommy.
Errol, half the time I don't know who's talking.
Wait, what? Hold on, what? What you said?
Tommy said Blake Griffin, and he was close. It was his teammate
Snatch.
that nobody said DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, DeAndre Jordan. That's an obvious one.
Lovely Sam.
Lob City. All right, Speedy, you're going to block us in one of the two spots, I'm assuming. Which one do you want?
Okay, I will do it on, I guess I'll do it with that one because then I can win if I get the next one. Oh, no, I can win either way.
It's either way. It's the same thing either way.
The next
Preference.
Baba likes my shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, all right. We'll play next point wins.
All right, next point wins, guys. Let's go.
All right, so we'll go back to the NFL. So after breaking Jim Brown's touchdown record on Sunday Night Football, Derrick Henry, also this big game, is just 103 yards, moving above what running back that played from 1998 to 2010?
2010. No.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Nope. Danian is much higher on the list.
Frank Gore.
Yes. Frank Gore is incorrect, also much higher on the list.
Oh.
What running back's not playing in 2010?
Still about 2,000 yards away from LaDainian Tomlinson.
I'm going to say Chris Johnson.
Nope.
Ooh, it's not a bad guess.
Rear end is burning.
Ahead of Chris Johnson.
He retired in 2010?
Yep.
What about Skidmark?
1998 to 2010.
I had to take a shit.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't believe so.
He tastes himself.
I don't know. I don't have any.
As long
I
as
think I know who it is, and I already
No,
said
he's
my
not all.
guess.
Can I give Fish my guess now this time?
All right.
No, the guy I thought was a Hall of Famer. So, Speedy, I'll take the guess, but I think I have a couple of names. Read the question one more time.
So Derrick Henry is 103 yards from surpassing this running back on the all-time rushing list. He played from 1998 to 2010.
And, like, for what place on the rushing list is he going for?
17th, I would think.
17th, so he's down the list. Okay. 98 to 2010. So he had played a 12-year career, so he was around for a long time.
Give some Nebraska some love. This is Shot in the Dark. I'm on green.
Nope. Amon Green is.
This makes my pecker hard.
He was on the list. He's 39. He's 9,205.
Like I always gave up the booty.
Good running back. Though.
This is a good question.
Yeah,
Already. Nobody's gonna. I don't know if it's.
No, my ass.
Oh, so now wait. Are you guessing? Or are you giving us?
No. I gave Fisher my guess already. I just looked at the answer because I don't have a guess anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. This is really tough.
This is a good one.
Jabba likes my shrimp cocktail.
Errol is absolutely not helping with the sound effects.
My pinky is bigger.
No, he's on the wrong team.
I literally don't know who's answered or whatever because he just.
Maybe you should just be on
button.
Speedy's team from now on.
So far, Frank Gore,
Lulu.
LaDainian Tomlinson, Amon Green, and Chris Johnson.
98. So he came into the league in 98.
Oh my god.
17th all time?
You're not gonna get it. So.
I don't think I'm going to get it. I guess I got nobody in my brain that fits that category. I'll say I don't know, Charlie Garner.
And the answer is Fred Taylor.
Ah!
You aren't gonna get it.
No, that's somebody that's legitimate that should have been gotten. He's not in the Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame.
He should
Really?
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's interesting. He was great. He was a great player.
He was a good player.
Does it mean Speedy wins?
Didn't he end up having
Speedy
like an
gets
ankle
the
injury or
win.
something?
The other one that was pretty close that I thought somebody would guess because it actually was a similar year range and he's a little higher on the list was 𝐬𝐿 too. Was 99.
That's who I was thinking of, but he's in the Hall of Fame. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, so
Because
he
I was
actually
gonna say
he's a
Edgerrin
little
James.
higher. He's a little higher, so he's at 13th right now, 12,246. Derrick Henry is 11,592. Fred Taylor is 11,695 right now.
𝐸𝐿 James
Speedy's
played that long. I didn't know
mom.
𝐸𝐿 James played that long.
Yep.
Seriously.
Edgerrin James was awesome.
It was.
Yeah, he was. That team was awesome. That Colts team was as jacked as it could be. They had Clark. They had two unbelievable wide receivers in Harrison and Reggie Wayne. I mean, you name it. That team was loaded.
They had the center that became the great interim head coach.
That
for the
whole
Indianapolis
offensive line,
Colts.
yes, Saturday,
Mr. Saturday.
Dude, that whole, and they had two unbelievable pass rushers on that team too. So, and Hall of Famers.
Oh yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we call this Save Your Tears.
Let's have a
Mom, what's one thing that you can't talk to me about?
My sexual fantasies.
No! No! Say you're sorry!
It is not ideal, but if it's what me, it is not ideal, but if it is not ideal, but if it is what me. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lord. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Lord, you guys, enough.
And now, it's time for Save Your Tears.
Can I slap your ass?
All right, Errol, you got a little ahead of yourself. You skipped the segment, but we'll go to this first. Save your tears. This is everyone's favorite daily fantasy, weekly fantasy game. Tier-based fantasy, get $15 salary cap. We're going to build our own teams based off of 3 games from week 2 of the NFL season. The winner of the game will play the Yahoo Daily Fantasy scoring format, PPR. Winner gets long-winded 51% genuine compliments next show from all of the losers. Last show it was Speedy Petey who was the champion.
Oh yeah, Speedy needs one from Nithin.
Nithin still has to give Speedy his one, but again, you're not allowed to cry about it if you lose. You got to save your tears. Nithin, you owe Speedy one. Let's start right there.
Well, I wasn't there on Monday, so what was the...
He won.
Speedy, Nithin, you played the game. You came in dead last. So, you need to give him a compliment because you were the loser and he was the winner. Everyone did.
Nithin. Oh, you're talking about fantasy football. Okay.
Did you just brain fart? Like, do you not remember?
Nithin, I'm about to boot you from the show and tell you you're in timeout.
Go alone. Go ahead. Just give him a compliment.
All right.
We even told you pre-show about this.
Give him a compliment.
All right, Speedy, you're one of the best hosts, one of the hosts on Job of the Mouth. You're a legend. You're the GOAT. You do a great job bringing guests on the show. Also, you're a jack of all trades. You do multiple things. What do you call it?
Thank you, Nithin. I think that's good enough. That's a good job. I'll take you on that. You can enjoy laughing yourself. Very good.
You're the greatest host on Job on the Mouth.
Speedy, you're a top 3 host on Jabba in the Mouth.
Let's go on. Let's go.
All right, here it is. Save your tears. Here's this week's contest. I'm going to read it off for you guys while the guys think about making their picks tonight. We are going to go to the Bills and the Lions, the Jets, the Saints, the who else do I have? The 49ers, and one more team is in here. It is did I say the Bears?
Bears. And
the Bears. So we got guys from all 6 of those teams littered in here, starting with the $5 player, Josh Allen, obviously, $5 at quarterback. MVP of the league. Jared Goff at 4. Justin Fields for 3. Caleb Williams for 2. And the Rattlesnake, Spencer Rattler at 1. Brock Purdy not playing this week. Not playing. Running back. We're going to go put Gibbs at $5 over CMC, despite how they both performed last week. Gibbs was the higher pick in the drafts. CMC at $4. James Cook at 3. Breece Hall, big first week at $2. And a future Hall of Famer, perhaps, Alvin Kamara at $1. The running back's pretty loaded. Wide receiver 1, have to pick from this column. Amon-Ra St. Brown for 5. Ricky Pearsall at 4. Big week from Keon Coleman last week at 3. Rome Odunze at 2. And Rashid Shaheed for $1. At wide receiver 2, Garrett Wilson tops the list, followed by DJ Moore, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, and Khalil Shakir. And at tight end, $5 tight end is Sam Laporta, followed by Dalton Kincaid, Juwan Johnson in a big week, playing with Spencer Rattlesnake, Rattler, Cole Kmet at 2, and Jets legend from The Ohio State University, Jeremy Ruckert, for $1, rounding it out. So, who wants to go first? I think we'll go in reverse order from last week. Nithin, you get to pick first. Everyone's been clamoring. More Nithin. More Nithin. Here's your chance, big man.
Right.
Let's hear your picks.
Okay, at the quarterback position, I'm going to go Josh Allen. Running back, I'm going to go Alvin Kamara. Wide receiver, I'm going to go... Let's see. I'm going to go Romy Odunze.
Romy?
Yeah.
Romy and Michelle's what?
Romy Rome.
Romy the homie.
Wide receiver 2, I'm going to go Khalil Shakir. Oh, wait, no, hold on. No, I'm going to go DJ Moore. And then tight end, I'm going to go...
Yeah, 3 left, Nathan.
Nathan, today, please.
Okay, Juwan Johnson.
All right. Johnson. All right, and here is your squad, Nathan. You have Allen, Kamara, Romadunze, or as you call him, Romy, the homie, and DJ Moore and Juwan Johnson. Let's go over to Tommy Poops.
All right, give me Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, Ricky Pearsall. Let me go also Jameson Williams.
Jameson Winston.
I had to correct myself. Cole
What has he got left? Komet?
Like $4.
Yeah, he had 3 left. So
3 left?
Komet,
Yeah, Cole Kmet.
Java,
Right.
Jameis Winston could get traded back to the Saints. You never know.
All right, I'll go next.
Wait a second. No, because I don't want you to tell me I'm copying.
Oh.
All right, sorry. I'll go at the end.
I don't want to hear you saying that I'm copying you. All right, because that's
All right, you're not copying me.
Yeah, I'm going Justin Fields, CMC, St. Brown. How many points do I have left?
CMC, St. Brown, that is 12. So you have 3 left.
All right, so I'm going to go Jameson Williams, and I guess Jeremy Rucker, right?
Yep.
Ruckert, yeah.
That's where I'm going.
All right, so you have Fields, CMC, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Jeremy Ruckert. All right, well, I am going to go now, and I'm going to take, surprisingly, the same 2 guys Earl did to start it, Justin Fields and CMC. I believe in those guys as well. So that's where I'm going, but I'm going to change it up for wide receiver number 1. I'm going to go and say the hot streak continues with Keon Coleman for the Bills. And then that gives me $2 more than Errol the rest of the way, so that should give me 5. I'm going to spend... I'm going to spend 3 on... You know what? I'm going to spend... Let's just go all Bills all day. Shakir and Kincaid. I'm just going to ride the Bills, wave to victory along the way. That's what we're doing. So I got Justin Fields, CMC, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and Dalton Kincaid. Last 3 all from your Buffalo Bills. Moving on. Jabba. Oh, I'm sorry. We got Jabba and Speedy. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead, Jabba.
I'm gonna go Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Ricky Pearsall. Then I'm gonna go Olave and Ruckert.
Okay. Allen, Hall, Pearsall, Olave, Ruckert to round it out. Our former champion, Speedy Petey.
Okay, yeah. I'm definitely going with the two Detroit wide receivers.
All right, so I'm going to go same start as Java. I'm going to go Josh Allen, Breece Hall. I'm going to go with '𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞. I'm going to go Shakir, and then I'm going to go $5 on tight end with Laporta.
Ooh, Laporta.
I think that's our first $5 tight end.
That might be. Let's take a look at where we are.
There was no tight end worth above 4 last week that was worth taking.
That's true.
True.
That is true. So let's take that one down. Let's put up what it looks like. You can see everyone's squad here. We got 4 people taking Allen, 2 taking Fields, 2 Kamaras, 2 Halls, 2 CMCs. We're all over the place at receiver. A couple of Ricky Pearsall's in there, and Rome Odunze's. We got a lot of Shakir action going on here as well. Jeremy Ruckert, big getting some play here as in Save Your Tears. Again, the winner gets the compliment chorus next week.
Filled with different sound bites.
Filled with different sound bites.
We'll have to have another section just for Nathan so he can spit it out.
All right, Speedy's one and only 6-pack of the week.
Let's have a sixer.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
It's time for the Speedy Six-Pack of the week.
All right, so the way I did the scoring with this is I get, if you got the closest margin of victory last week, you get an extra point. If you get the team right, you got 1 point. So after week 1, Errol is in the lead with 5. Fish and Java, you both have 3, and I have 1 at the moment. So we will start with tomorrow's game. The Commanders at the Packers. I got Green Bay winning this by 6.
All right. Who's going next? I gotta really think about it.
I figured it'd be you, then Jabba, and I'll go last. It's fine.
All right. I'm gonna go Packers.
Where's it at, Speedy?
It's Green Bay. I'm gonna go Packers by 7.
Well,
I got Packers by 10.
The spread's 6, you said?
No, I said I had them winning by 6.
Oh, okay.
Spread is...
That's all right. If you don't have it, that's fine. I think I'm going to go with the Packers as well. I think it's a touchdown game, too. What do you got next, Speedy?
Jabba. Did Jabba make his pick?
No, Jabba didn't.
Oh, Jabba.
Yeah, I did. I said Packers by 10.
Oh, Packers.
Yeah,
Packers
so we all
by how
took
many?
the Packers.
How many, Jabba?
It doesn't matter. Just Packers.
You don't have to write down how much,
Just
Speedy.
Packers. He's got the Packers.
All right, we'll go to the Bills and the Jets. I think this is a higher scoring game. Give me Buffalo by 8.
Errol.
I'm trying to think. You guys can skip me because I might go with the Jets. I gotta think. I gotta think about it.
Jabba, you want to make a pick about the Bills and Jets real quick?
Bills.
How close do you think it's going to be?
2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to see more from the Jets against good competition. I don't think Pittsburgh was good. I don't know if it's 2 touchdowns, but I think it's at least 8 points. Bills win.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick the Bills, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win this game. I'm just gonna let you guys know that. I'm gonna go Buffalo by 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win this game.
All right, let's go to the Broncos at the Colts. I got Denver winning in this game, but I do think it will be close. The Colts defense didn't impress me last week. Give me Denver by 6.
I can do this one right now. Denver by 25 points. I'm going to bet this heavy. I don't think Daniel Jones can play against real defenses. I don't care. This is a real defense, not the whatever Miami pretended to put up there yet last week. I've seen what Daniel Jones does against real defenses. It's not much. Give me give me a blowout for Denver.
Good job.
Broncos by 10.
I'm going Indianapolis by 3. Indy wins.
I sense this feud is going to go on all year with
Indy
Daniel
wins.
Jones. Okay, let's go.
25
Holy
points. What plus odds do you think I can get at 25 points?
By 3.
All right, let's go to the Sunday Night Football game, the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. I think Atlanta bounces back here. Give me Atlanta by 3.
Atlanta
Atlanta
at Minnesota.
I'm going Vikings. Vikings by 7.
Vikings by 6.
I'm going to say Vikings by 3. I think it's going to be very close. Come down to the last possession. I like.
I'm going to correct my Indiana, because I want to win this. I want to do this where I like to win. So I'm going to go Broncos, but Indiana. I think
You like to win, so you can't support Daniel Jones. I just want everyone to hear what he just said.
I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you this. Daniel Jones has a great game. Just so you know.
I'll tell you this. We're gonna see the exposure of Daniel Jones.
3, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Daniel Jones throws over 200 yards and runs about 50 yards and runs in a touchdown and throws 2 touchdowns. So
He's gonna have one of those faces where he's just like,
I'm going to go
all
Denver
game.
because I want to win, because it's not guaranteed. But I'm telling you, Daniel Jones will have a big game.
All right, let's go to Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers at the Texans. I'm going to go Tampa wins by 10 in a low-scoring game.
At the Texans?
At the Texans.
Okay.
I got the Bucks by 3.
so this is a team that can't block a soul. If you think the Giants can't block, wait till you get a load of the Texans. The Texans, you can't win in the NFL against good teams if you can't block up front. I think they're going to kill them. CJ Stroud couldn't do that much last week. They're facing a better team now. I think they're going to beat them up by a lot. Give me 2-score game for Texans lose by over 14.
Is
John
Tommy
walk out.
picking? Tommy picking?
No.
No?
You can get Tommy's down on the side, see if he beats us.
I want to go to the Texans so bad. I want to be different. I trust CJ Stroud, and it is at home. But I got Bucky Irvin on my fantasy team. I want him to do well. I'm going to go Buccaneers. Again, another game. I'd be surprised the Texans. It's going to be close. 3 points.
All right, last one, the Super Bowl rematch. Eagles at the Chiefs. This will not be a blowout like the Super Bowl, but I am still taking the Eagles in a tight, low-scoring game. I'll say by 6.
I got Chiefs by 3.
Wasn't close in the Super Bowl. I don't know why it's going to be much more close now, except for one reason. The rookie left tackle looked really, really good in week 1. Simmons from Ohio State went last pick in the first round. They could not block the pass rush in the Super Bowl. I think they will now. And I think it's going to be a fairer game. You give Mahomes any kind of protection, he's going to make sure that it goes down to the last possession of the game. No, I'm going to say the Chiefs win. I'm going to say they win by 3 with an assist from the referees.
The Swifties are back.
They owe him one.
I'm gonna say this is just gonna prove why Kansas City might not even make the playoffs this year. This will be the first 0-2 season they've had in a long time. I've got the Eagles winning the game and blowing them out, okay, by 14. So I got the Eagles on a blowout. So there you go.
I want to do something. We can do this next week, Speedy. But I'm going to show you how idiots we are. I'm going to flip a coin from here on out for my picks, and just to show you that we think way too much about these things, I will let a coin decide, and I guarantee you I don't come in last.
So something about this going forwards, we are going to incorporate spreads into this.
Yeah, that's probably better.
And we're also going to invite some of our Let's Parlay guys to play along. So we're going to talk more about this as we go forward. Speedy with the 6-pack for week 2.
There you go. I do believe the Eagles are the best team still in the NFC. I do. Even with the Green Bay Packers, as good as they are and what they've shown to be, I still think the Eagles, when healthy, they have the most talent around them, offensively and defensively. Because if you look at it, the Eagles' secondary is just so fantastic. I don't think, as good as the Packers are, their secondary is iffy.
Yeah.
The Eagles' secondary is ridiculous. So that's the only reason why I think that the Eagles are still way better than the Packers. And if they meet in the NFC title game, which I believe they might, I think the Eagles are going to come out the winners. That's just my opinion. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we call this a call to the pen.
It's time.
Think you can throw a strike on this pitch?
There's not going to be much on it. My arm feels like jello right now.
Just get it over the plate. I want him to swing.
Last time I did that, the guy hit one that hasn't landed yet.
For a call to the pen.
I can take a shit.
All right, guys, welcome back to A Call to the Pen. Tonight's episode is titled The Stretch Run. Well, it's mid-September. We're in the stretch run. With only a handful of series or less left in the regular season, the finish line is within sight. For teams out of it, there's still a chance to see the youngsters on the expanded rosters, and maybe one last chance to see some of your oldest favorites, maybe for the last time. While everyone in between, maybe you have another chance to let your displeasure be known. For fans and players of and on teams in the playoff chase, it's a whole different animal. As a fan, I know I'm living on each game. Pissed off we blew another one due to bad defense by Volpe, again, and poor bullpen performance, again, but I don't have any control over the outcome. No matter how hard I cheer or boo, how creative my heckling is, or even how timed up I do the wave in my section, which I absolutely detest and I'm always pressured into doing, nothing I do is going to change an outcome. For the players, well, careers can be made in these times. Future for generations of families can be obtained, and glory and reverence are achievable, while for others, like Bill Buckner, immortality can be gained in the wrong way. Well, I have no idea what that's like. As always, we are lucky to have the big right-hander in the pen, only a phone call away, who has been through the chases, who can tell us how things change at this point in the season, and what it's like to come through when it really matters, here on another edition of A Call to the Pen.
I got the bubble gun.
Yeah, this is the time of year too where it could catch you one way or the other, right? It's, hey, I'm out of it, but it's a run year, which basically means for us it's like, hey, it's a chance to go into free agency with numbers, which you never want to look at that. You always want to be battling to play in October, but it can also change a lot of lives, and we've seen. I'll use 𝐸𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 as an example. You get in with the Giants, you have a great postseason, and you're set up for life and didn't do anything after that. So this is such a huge stretch run for not only guys getting into the playoffs, but guys just not only fighting for a job too. And think about those mid-tier guys that are just literally trying to, to stay on. And, as we've seen the age kind of diminish, the older guys getting spots in the the bullpen and getting less money, they're battling. So this stretch run for a lot of guys is huge. It's showing that they can pitch in big situations to get them into the playoffs, and then once you get into the playoffs, to see what you can do, because that can change a lot of things. And you have your heroes and you have your goats too, like where you get remembered for those things. Me being a playoff guy too, where nobody cares what it is, it just bugs all over me. So there's certain situations that always manifest into something either good, bad, or in this case weird. But this stretch run's always fun, especially with teams in it. It sucks. I was fortunate enough that there's only 1 year where I didn't really have to plan on getting to the postseason, which isn't fun because then you start trying to play for yourself, which sometimes isn't the greatest thing to do. But when you get to that point and know it's like, here we go, like, all right, they're going to see it now. It's almost here. Let's see, if I can have a great September. And now they look at it. So it's a fun time of the year in sports in general, and especially with baseball coming to an end and kind of seeing the new start of a season. And that's called the postseason, which is the real season to a lot of us true believers. Some people just getting there is one thing, but yeah, it's always an interesting time of the year for a lot of people.
All right, and there you have it, the stretch run on A Call to the Pen.
It's so funny, and we're waiting for Jordan Ron on. When he comes in, we'll be doing an interview. I wanna say something, and I've been watching the NFL season for a long, long time, And I know there's a lot of Jet fans, and there were a ton of Jet fans that reached out to me over the last 24 to 48 hours telling me, well, what do you think of the Jets? Where do you see the Jets this year after having a great game number one? And I'll tell you, it's pretty simple. You can't make a decision. And like we've heard from Aaron Glenn, and Aaron Glenn, I give him a lot of credit because the media is trying to get as much as they can out of Aaron Glenn over the last few days, trying to get him to say, well, we could be a contender. We could make the playoffs. And Aaron Glenn says, the thought here is if you don't win, you're not going to get into the playoffs. And we didn't win. As much as we played well, it's not going to make a difference. If you don't put the win in the win mark and you have a loss, you're never going to get over the hump. And to me right now, when all the Jet fans are out there saying, wow, the fact is we got a quarterback, and look at the defense. We got guys that can get after the quarterback, and our offensive line is dominant. We completely dominated a great defensive line. Here's the facts, guys. And for all you Jet fans out there, and I know you want to be happy, and I'm one of those Jet fans that want to see the Jets be an elite team. Until the Jets do it in the big games, until the Jets make the playoffs, just think about it. Me and Leaf were talking about it yesterday, 24 hours ago. Me and Leaf were talking about, when the last time the Jets made the playoffs, you know how old I was when the Jets made the playoffs? I was 28 years old. I'm 43. Just think about that. It's been 15. You heard it. 15 years since the Jets made the playoffs. To even play a playoff game, to play a playoff minute. I know Goody's not in tonight. I know, guys. You don't have to tell me. I got it. Goody's not in. But I will say this. All you want to see is the Jets get to 500 this year. If the Jets get to 500 and win 8 games, that's a good season. Anything under 500, it's okay. You know where the Jets are going in the draft, no matter what happens. As good as Justin Fields is, Justin Fields could be a Pro Bowl player this year. And he could. He very much could. The numbers in game number one would tell you he played like Jalen Hurts. If he plays all season like that, he's going to get the Jets 700 yards running. He's going to put up 3,000 yards, and he's probably going to throw about 18 to 20 touchdowns and run in about 6 to 7 touchdowns. If he does that, that is Pro Bowl caliber. It doesn't matter. The Jets are going to get a quarterback in this coming draft because, as we all know, as a coach, you want to bring in your own guy. And Justin Fields still has a year left on his contract. And is Breece Hall coming back no matter what? No. Breece Hall could put up 1,500 yards this year, and he can have 12 touchdowns. The Jets are not bringing Breece Hall back next year because the Jets are going to have to pay Jermaine Johnson and probably a year after that, Will McDonald. They're going to pay their pass rushers. It's harder to find a pass rusher than a running back. So, Jet fans, I know you want to brag about what Breece Hall did in game number one. And Breece Hall could be unbelievable this year where he's just the best running back in the league and one of the best offensive options that we've seen the Jets have since Curtis Martin. It's not going to make a difference. He will not be a Jet next year. He will not be wearing the green and white next year. So you could book that, Jet fans. But it's exciting. I know Jet fans are excited. Giant fans were a little lame about what happened to the Giants in game number one against the Commanders. I think there's a lot of thought with the Giant fans, and we're going to get hopefully we get Jordan Ranan on so we can talk about the Giants. The only thing I could say that I saw about the Giants that you should be excited about is the Giants' defensive line. I thought it looked sensational. I think the youngsters, even guys that I've attacked over the last year, played very well. And if they continue doing that, their front seven could be as dominant as any front seven in football. The scary part is their offensive line is so very bad. 3 of their starters could be 3 of the third-string players on any other roster. That's how bad it is. So the Giants and Russell, it doesn't matter. Honestly, if you're a Giant fan, you don't want to see Jackson Dart play. You don't want to see him play because he's going to get killed. Remember, Jackson Dart played against third-string players in preseason. He hasn't even played number one guys. Could you imagine if he played the Browns, what the Browns did to the Bengals this past week? Imagine if they played TJ Watt and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's scary, Giant fans. You do not want to see Jackson Dart. I think you would rather see Russell Wilson get his head blown off and not worry about your young quarterback being in harm's way. It's not a good sign for the New York Giants. It's not a good sign for Dable with Malik Neighbors complaining, and you see the backlash after the game, and Dable trying to make excuses about what happened on the sidelines. So it doesn't look good, but honestly, we'll see as the season progressively moves forward, what both teams and how both teams are going to fall together. But we're still waiting for Jordan Ronan. Do you want to go to a sports minute? Let's go to a sports minute. Let's go to a sports minute. There is no goodies bag of balls. If Ronan isn't on, I want to get into something Adam Silver said at the Kawhi Leonard press conference over the last 24 hours.
Yeah,
so,
we got Inside Baseball as well set up for in place of Goody too. So
okay. I do want to get into what Adam Silver said. So first, our sports minute with the fish.
3, 2, 1. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute.
All right, guys. Starting off the Sports Minute, here's Aaron Fishman with a couple of stories before your scores. Former Cubs legend and Yankees disappointment, first baseman Anthony Rizzo announced his retirement at the age of 36 from the game of baseball. In 10 seasons with the Cubs, Rizzo was a 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner, and winner of the 2017 Roberto Clemente Award for community involvement and philanthropic contributions. Rizzo, who battled cancer as a Red Sox prospect, has dedicated lots of time and energy to his charitable foundation, leading to his near universal approval from those in the league. And yes, even me, a bitter Yankees fan, that thought we were getting a better version of Rizzo than we got, especially after he played half a season with an undiagnosed concussion for some reason, after which he never could find the magic again, especially in that 5th inning in Game 5 last year. I said I wouldn't be bitter. So congratulations on a great career, Anthony Rizzo, one of the Cubs that broke the curse of the Billy Goat. And the Bulls and guard forward Josh Giddey agreed to a 4-year, $100 million contract extension. The deal makes Giddey the highest paid player on the team. Giddey, who's 6'8", led the Bulls with 21.2 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 9.3 assists per game with 45.7% on threes in the 19 games he played after Zach LaVine was traded away at the trade deadline last year. Giddey, who was traded straight up by OKC to Chicago for Alex Caruso at the end of the 23-24 season, was embroiled at the time in a scandal with an underage girl that did not lead to charges. Apparently, the Bulls and recently extended coach, newly minted Hall of Famer Billy Donovan, are comfortable with the big Australian being a big part of the team's future. In baseball, still going tonight, the Yankees are whimpering into another loss against the Tigers. It's 8-1 in the top of the 9th at Yankee Stadium. They're trailing again. Riley Green's up. He already has a home run tonight. The Yankees hapless against this Tiger team. The Cubs are trying to close it out in Atlanta. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th. They have a lead over the Braves. It's 6-5. The White Sox over the Rays and going into the top of the 8th in Chicago. It's 1-0 end of 5. Padres and Reds. Also 1-0 just going into the top of the 2nd. Cardinals and Mariners. Cards with the lead. And the Rockies and Dodgers are yet to get underway. In final earlier today, the Rangers 6, Brewers 3. The A's 5, the Red Sox 4. D-backs 5, Giants 3. Angels 4, Twins 3. Orioles, 2-1 victory in 10 innings over the Pirates. 4-3 win for the Royals in Cleveland. Marlins 8, Nationals 3. Phillies all over the Mets 11-3. And the Astros with a 3-2 win over Toronto to close it out. Guys, we are streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on our Jabba in the Mouth handle. On Facebook under the Worldwide Sports Radio Network handle. And on Twitter under our host handle at @ErrolMarks34. Keep downloading on Apple Podcasts and watch us both there and on Spotify, now in video. Make sure to like and subscribe to all our shorts, reels, TikToks, and longer videos that you see from us throughout the week. Now back to Errol, Jabba, and Speedy for our next segment on Jabba and the Mouth.
Any questions?
What is this? We're back. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Show.
I love Lisa Ann.
631 672 3108 is the number to call. You're listening to the one and only Jabba and the Mouth. I'm your host, Errol Marks, my co-host, Jabba Chamberlain, and the Speedster, Executive producer, Mr. Aaron Fishman. On the board, you know him as Mr. Poops, Tommy Poops. Yes, he's in the studio. Hopefully, he didn't get lost in the toilet. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba in the Mouth every single Mondays and now Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. We do have our guest in, but we have a topic over here. You got to go to Ice Shaker to get your very own Ice Shaker. Shop all their official licensed collections from Star Wars to Marvel and so much more. Enjoy free shipping when you spend $50 or more. Go to iceshaker.com to check out all their great products and deals. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Giant fan, ladies and gentlemen, you can get your boys in blue Ice Shaker by going to iceshaker.com, and you can get your very own Ice Shaker Giants. Wonderful colors, blue, red, white, and whatever the hell you call it. And you can get a Malik Neighbors face on it, or you can get Malik Neighbors' name on it, or you can get Fire Dable on the front, as Giant fans are probably calling for his head this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, go to iceshaker.com and get your very own Ice Shaker. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have him in. He's very unique. I check out all his stories. He's a Giants writer, beat writer, very well known in all of the ESPN world. And if you're a Giant fan, you know him very, very well. We are now talking to ESPN NFL National Giants reporter Jordan Raanan. Jordan, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, fellas? Look at that, man. Look at that.
Sexy man.
Right there. Look at that. Yeah.
I know you're
Look at how young that guy is. I'm all over that graphic. I'm young there, man. Look at those.
Look at that. And you got a beautiful wife. You got wonderful kids. Who's better than you, Jordan?
There we go. Yeah.
And you're a Giants fan.
First of all, let me apologize for being late. I got caught up in the middle of a project with my son. We had to put together a collage of pictures. So.
All right. That's school. School comes first. Family comes first, but
we got to make sure he graduates first grade. Doesn't
when I was in first grade, I thought, and I'm just there was like this glue thing. I had this problem. I love the smell of glue. And when I was in first grade, I tried to eat.
You were that kid. Yep.
I was one of those kids. Yeah, I was one of those kids. I like to play with glue and taste it and all that other stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the obvious joke is that it explains everything. You know, I mean, that's too easy right there.
Well, at least I can admit it. All right, Jordan. Anyways, the Giants, I mean, there's a lot to get in with the New York Giants. I spoke a little bit about it before you came in. We're talking a little Jets and Giants. And, you know, what's crazy is the biggest story right now is the Malik Neighbors and Brian Dable situation on the sidelines. And a lot of people, Dable kind of played it off after the game. Malik Neighbors, you could see he wasn't very happy. There was a lot behind the arguing on the sidelines. You have the inside scoop. What happened on the sidelines?
Yeah, I just think they were frustrated. They weren't doing anything offensively. You know, they were successful. There wasn't a lot of energy going on. It kind of was I know guys were getting down, I think, a little quickly. And look, these things happen. I don't think it's that big a deal. I do see it being a little bit troubling that one quarter into the season, the frustration boiled. Really that quickly? You know? And to me, it's more of a sign that, hey, you know what, this is a little bit of an extension of last year. It's like, oh my God, here we go again with the offense. So I think that's what it is. That concerns me more than the actual act of the two of them. You know, they're fiery. Dable, we've seen over the years, he flipped the tablet at Daniel Jones and argued with Wink Martindale and, you know, is exploding left and right. Malik Neighbors has not been shy. He said he's going to be open and honest, and when he sees something that he's going to, you know, feel like he's going to do his best to correct it. So it's kind of what I expect from those guys. It does make me pause, though. Like, really? This is where we're at one quarter into the season?
It's very Jet-like, okay? It's not usually Giant-like. It's very Jet-like. I didn't see much of that with the New York Jets, but definitely that was surprising.
They're on the even ground these days. That's where they're at.
But the last time we've seen this before, Jordan, it was Tom Coughlin and Odell Beckham. And what happened to Tom Coughlin after that? He got fired. Well, he walked away. as Giant fans want to add that. But the Giants have never been as good with the Tom Coughlin era since then. So that's all I'm bringing up. The last time we've seen this happen was Odell Beckham, their superstar wide receiver, and their Hall of Fame coach. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, look, this is a different situation than that at the time. I think this is more both sides, whereas that time it was a little more one-sided, right? And with the just Odell being so emotional. This is kind of both the coach and the player. But again, I think it's a fair point. If, something moving forward happens.
Is Daboll on the hot seat? It's Tom Coughlin was on the hot seat when that was going on. You have to believe that he's on the hot seat.
Tom Coughlin was on the hot seat for like 7 years.
I'm just saying, he was on the hot seat, and Odell Beckham, your superstar, John Mara's behind his superstars. When you see something like that on the sidelines, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I think. Look, they won 3 games last year. They have to win games. They can't. They're in year 4 of the regime here. They absolutely have to produce some sort of results. John Mara said that after last season. I think the quote was, we're going to have to see. Here it is. I have it right here. They're going to have to get better results. He's talking about if we're going to move on to year 4. He actually meant year 5, but yeah. So. They're going to have to get better results. You know what that means? Winning some games. That's what it's all about here.
So one unit that did a good job in trying to win the game was the defense. The front seven looked very good. A new look secondary. I thought there were some impressive young players in that secondary, obviously bringing in Adebo and Holland as free agents. And then I thought some of the youngsters had a nice game. What were your impressions of the defense?
They were good, not great. Somewhere in between. Like there was definitely some things positives you could take from it. They let up 21 total points. They kept them in the game. They could get some pass rush. They had some splash plays. Maybe they were a little fortunate that Jaden Daniels didn't have his best day. There was some opportunities there that he didn't quite hit. But I think you could leave that game still feeling semi-confident that the Giants defense is going to be a good unit and definitely is the strength of the team. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Jordan, talking about the strength of the team, is there one guy that stands out to you that you think is going to have a breakout year on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, Brian Burns already got 2 sacks. And look, I know the easy answer there is Abdul Carter. Look, he's going to be a great player, even if you look at his reps. And I totally think that. But I also think that Brian Burns, he already has 2 sacks. He's sort of primed for a really big year. He's the best I've seen him looking so far this summer. Granted, he's only been here a little more over a year now, but I think, especially with those other guys there with him, he's primed for a really big year. I think, Brian Burns could end up having his best season yet, easy Pro Bowl type season. And for him, it's all about, he just needs to stay healthy, right? That was the thing last year. He was a good player last year. He was top 10 in the league in pass rush win rate. But he was also dinged up and he was just banged up constantly. He was playing through a lot of things. He would barely be able to walk in the locker room after some of those games. And so you could really see him struggling. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to have a huge year for them.
We are talking to ESPN NFL Nation Giants reporter Jordan Raanan. Jordan, the offensive line was absolutely putrid. This was horrible. Andrew Thomas has been out. He can't stay healthy, but when he's playing, he's one of the best offensive tackles in football. The guy got a lot of money, and the guy still hasn't been on the field yet this season. You're hoping that he comes back soon, but when you look at guys like Runyon, you brought him in. He didn't play well. You have Michael Schmidt, a guy like him, a guy that they drafted in the second round. They thought he was the future center. He hasn't been good. You bring in Van Roden. We all know Long Island native. He played for the Jets, played for the Packers. The guy stinks. I mean, practically every single player on this line. And then you bring in Jermaine. These guys, you bring them into free agency, they stink. They absolutely suck. And I'm not going to bet on Evan Neal, if you put him in the guard position, that he's going to save the world and save the New York Giants. This offensive line is terrible. And you could see it in their running game. Tracy couldn't run. They have no running game whatsoever. And they're going to bet on Russell Wilson. And you want to put Jackson Dart in there? Giant fans are calling for Dart. He's going to get killed. He's going to be clotheslined with this offensive line. Your thoughts to the Giants' absolutely disgusting offensive line?
Yeah, it was a rough week 1 for the offensive line. I mean, that is certainly a fair take. It wasn't what you wanted. The problem is Andrew Thomas is injured, right? He's coming back from a pretty serious injury. He needed Liz Frank surgery, and now he's the only guy on that line that you have that's a super high-end player, and that's when he's healthy, and he hasn't been healthy now for 2 straight years. So even when he comes back, I don't know if he's going to be the same player. I don't know if that's even realistic at this point. But you have this one guy who's a high-end player, and other guys that are average slash below average players, and you put so much weight on the one guy who's coming back from a serious injury. It doesn't seem like the kind of bet that you would want to make. And that 100% is the concern with putting in Jackson Dart. It's, do you want to put him in this situation? It's not an ideal situation for a young quarterback. Do you really want him to go in? Do you want him to go in and take hits? And I think that's the dilemma that the Giants are going to have here. It's going to be, well, is Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, do they feel that much pressure that they feel they have to put Jackson Dart in? Or do they say, hey, the right thing for us long term, do they feel enough confidence and feel enough job security where they can do that? I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. But they need Andrew Thomas. But they also need some of the guys there to play better. They need John Runyon Jr. to play better, right? He's proven he could play as a quality guard in this league. John Michael Schmidt needs to live up to the draft status that he had. He was a 2nd-round pick. Greg Van Roten, he's a serviceable guy.
He stinks. Stop it. Stop it. Stop selling us. We know you're good.
He can be serviceable. He can be serviceable. If he happened to be your 5th best lineman, you'd be fine.
I wipe my ass with Greg Van Roten. I put Jabba in a position. Jabba's never played offensive line.
Is Jabba good? Is Jabba a good offensive lineman?
All Jabba has to do is put his big body there. And, well, he doesn't have a big body anymore. He lost 36 pounds, but you know what I mean. I would put his big 6'3" frame there over Greg Van Roten. The guy stinks.
Hey, I played it in Pee Wee's.
Okay. That's a long time ago, buddy. I mean,
for sure.
The point is they need the guys there to play better, because the reality is there's not, like you said, there's nobody walking through the door, right? There's no hey, we have an all Pro Bowl offensive lineman walking through the door here. Like Evan Neal, I think that has kind of run its course, right? It is what it is. We're not really going anywhere there. And yeah, I mean, Marcus Bowe's a good young player, but he's a 5th-round pick. He's not going to just save the line and make you magically better. So, yeah, they're going to need these guys to play better to some degree. And look, I agree with you. It's not going to magically become a really good line, but they can be better than what they were the other day. And they obviously need that, because otherwise everybody's going to be gone, because that was hard to watch. It was a non-functioning offense, which is really, and this is the biggest problem about it, it was a continuation of last year and the year before that. So you're sitting there. Most teams, you play really crappy in week 1, right? And you just be like, okay, it's week 1. Let's see. We'll give them some time. They can get better. You know, we don't expect them to come in week 1 and be great right away. But with the Giants and the situation they're in offensively, you're just like, God darn it. Like, that was the same garbage we saw last year.
It was worse.
Do anything. Now it's the same thing.
It was worse. It was worse. It was worse. It was embarrassing.
They scored a touchdown and they scored 6 points. So yes, it was worse.
They scored 6 points because it was like Olay. The Commanders absolutely dominated defensively, but they were like, "Go ahead, run it in. We'll give you a touchdown. All right, we'll give you."
They didn't even get it though. They didn't get the touchdown.
I know.
At least it wasn't 2023 where they lost like 41-3 or something to Dallas.
Nothing. Don't give them credit. They scored 0 in that game. It was 40-0.
That was 40-0. Okay.
40-0.
All right, I want to move on to the running back usage, because a lot of fans are excited about 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 out of the draft. Tyrone Tracy obviously had some good moments last year as a rookie running back, and obviously they still have Devin Singletary there, but he's kind of been more of a pass catching guy. Like, do you see this kind of thing being like more of a Tracy still backfield? Do you think 𝐃𝐨𝐽 emerges? If so, when? And like, what do you think the roles will be like for all these guys?
Yeah, this sounds like a super fantasy question here, right? And I'm all for fantasy. So
I don't have any one of those guys, so I'm.
I know, but that's what people like. That's what people want to know about them, right? That's why they want to know it. And I'm a big fantasy guy, so I totally understand, and I give people that information all the time because I know exactly this is what they're looking for. But yeah, I think it's slowly but surely, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see more 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭. He was injured, so he really didn't practice a lot in the month leading up to the regular season. But he's been healthy the last few weeks. I think we're going to see him get a little bit more involved each week. I still think it's Tyrone Tracy's show until it's not, until he proves he can't be the guy. But I do also expect 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 to start getting a bigger role. I think a 70-30 split, or maybe like 60-20, and then Devin Singletary, throw him in there for like a 10%. Like that's where it's headed. It's going to be primarily Tracy, but with 𝐃𝐨𝐽 sprinkled in there, third downs. You saw what he could do as a blocker there. He catches the ball really well. I think that's kind of where he'll make his mark as like a third down, passing down back for the most part this year.
Yeah, Jordan, you touched on Dart a little bit, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit, and we're, I think, kind of in agreement, but we're not. If and when they do, and like you said, it's how much trust do they have or faith in their job or whatever. If and when they do it, how many games do you think it'll take for them to either, I guess, put him in or be like, hey, we're just going to ride this out and see what Russ can do? We kind of, what was it, 5 games is kind of what we said?
I think 5 games, yeah.
To at least get him to that point, and then.
Well, that's my over-under. I think 5 games.
Well, game 5 is New Orleans. If you want like a soft landing spot, that would be it, right? That's the easiest. You can't have an easier game. I mean, I guess it could be home, but New Orleans.
Okay.
New Orleans is the team. Yeah,
it's okay. We're facing Errol's favorite quarterback that week.
Yeah, he's not my favorite. He's definitely not. I want to choke him. That's what I want to do. Close him. I can't stand him. Spencer Rattler.
But yeah, look, we're talking about Jackson Dart here, and it'll be very difficult for them to be patient if things are going poorly. They would like to ride out Russ. I think in an ideal world, they would like to win games with Russell Wilson as the quarterback and have him play well. But is he going to play well? Like, can he play to the level they need it? If he doesn't play well this week, do they panic? Do they want to come home, have Russell Wilson come for their home opener, have the fans sitting there, demoralized, upset, whatever it is? You tell me, Russell Wilson get booed if they play terrible and they come in 0-2 and the home opener against the Kansas City Chiefs on a Sunday night?
I don't want to see Russell Wilson, and I don't want to see Jackson Dart because I like Jackson Dart. He's going to get killed.
You don't want to get killed.
He is going to get killed. This offense.
But here's what I'll say, and I know the obvious, and you're like, okay, then they should put in Jameis Winston if it doesn't work with Russ, right?
I'd rather watch him play. At least we'll see him. What do they call them? What do they call them? The sombreros, whatever you call them, the 3 amigos. I'd rather see one of the amigos.
Cut now, though.
Yeah, well, I don't care. The 2 amigos. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jordan.
I was saying, but I would just say this. Hold on 1 second. I got to send this text.
Somebody's giving you fantasy advice?
No, he's texting Russell Wilson. We're talking about you.
Sierra's on us.
Russell, don't worry. I'm backing you up.
I was waiting for a call tonight from somebody about a story I'm working on, and I just told them I'm on a radio interview. I'll call him back in a few minutes. Not breaking news, but so the thing is, you say, well, okay, and I know where you're going there. It makes sense just go to Jameis Winston if that's the case. Well, I think we're already past that point because by making Jackson Dart the number 2 quarterback, the backup quarterback this past week, right? The Giants already said if Russell Wilson got hurt in the first quarter and he just stepped on somebody's foot, we felt good enough that we were going to throw Jackson Dart into the game in the middle of a game for his first career game without really preparing, because the backup quarterback for the Giants doesn't really get any first team reps, gets like a handful, maybe at most, 1 or 2 probably of live reps during the week with the first team offense. So they were already willing to throw him in that situation. You bet your butt they're going to throw him in there if they want to put in a starter, and it's not going to be Jameis Winston. I'd be really surprised if somehow they switched and said, hey, we're going to go start Jameis Winston, when, by the way, we would have put Jackson Dart in the middle of a game if we had to for his first career, appearance.
Jordan. The Giants organization is an absolute joke. you're going to put your franchise quarterback, which you moved up all the way into the first round to land. You have no offensive line. You have a pretty good defense. I mean, you have Abdul Carter looks like he's going to be the real deal. You have Sexy Dexy. You have obviously Kayvon Thibodeau that actually played well. That's great. And you added secondary. That's wonderful. This team has no offensive line. And then you're going to sell me. The Giants are going to sell me right now that if Russell Wilson goes down, I'm going to put my future franchise quarterback in with this garbage. What are you trying to sell? This is the same New York Giant team with Joe Schoen on Hard Knocks to throw his running back under the bus, Saquon Barkley, who, by the way, goes to the Eagles, takes his money, and goes and rides, almost breaks the running back record, and wins a Super Bowl that year. Come on, man. This is a team that has not done the right thing, and you're not doing the right thing to Jackson Dart, putting him in harm's way.
So what did you just say? You said this team doesn't do the right thing. So what do you think they're going to do? All of a sudden, they're going to do the right thing?
You know what?
They're going to do the wrong. They're going to do the wrong thing, and they're going to put them in there in a bad situation because they're worried about their jobs because they were already brought back, and that's the situation they're in. And look, I might not think it's the right move. You might not think it's the right move, but this is the situation they're in. And I honestly, can you even begrudge them? They're trying to save their jobs in this situation. If they can't go 1-6 to start the season, right? Or 1-5, 1-4, even like the season will go off the rails. They can't afford that. They just went 3-14. This is the situation the Giants have put themselves in.
Hey, I got an idea. I got the perfect idea right now. Let's call Joe Schoen's son. That's what we should do. Let's ask him. Why don't we ask Joe Schoen's son what he should do? That guy, I'm sorry. I know
the one who wanted his son's the one who wanted Jaden Daniels. The son might know what he's doing.
Yeah, well, I'd
Yeah,
rather
he'll be their GM in 20 years.
If I was a Giant fan, that's what I'd do. I'd just go and ask. I'd go ask Joe Schoen's son.
He's a good high school quarterback. I know.
I heard. To me, if I know Giant fans want to sit here and we love. By the way, I love what you do with ESPN. You're a great writer. You're one of the best beat writers for the New York Giants. And I'm not trying to blow your head. I'm being serious. And when we knew we were going to get you on, I want to give you a little bit of props there and respect because of what you've done over the last couple of years for the New York Giants. The Giants are more successful than the New York Jets, as I am a Jet fan, and I do root the Eagles on too. But the fact is, when you're sitting here today, yes, I am an Eagle. I grew up a Donovan McNabb fan, so the Jets always suck. So I rooted for Donovan McNabb. So yeah, I root for the Eagles, even though I'm not one of those fans that are going to go out.
It's a weird combination, though. You do know that, right?
Listen, I'm a weird person, bro.
It is a weird combination.
Listen. I could throw a ball and hit it out of the park if I really want to. As Jabba, there's Jabba shaking his head. But the fact here is, if you're a Giant fan today, and we have a lot of Giant fans that listen to the show, you can't be excited or happy what this team is doing after game number 1. The only thing you could be excited for is Abdul Carter looks like the real deal, and you have you can argue the best defensive lineman in all of football in Dexter Lawrence. Besides that, Malik Neighbors has regressed. I'm sorry. I know it's game 1, but are we going to trust? We've seen this before. We've seen this. Hakeem Nicks, wasn't he a high draft pick? How long did it take Hakeem Nicks to fall out of thought? Victor Cruz, I know he was undrafted player.
Both of those guys are injury related. Actually, Odell was too.
Yes, he was.
Malik Neighbors, when he came into the league, he was injury related. Was he?
No, I'm just saying, unless something happens to Malik Neighbors, dude, he's going. I'm telling you, mark it down, write it down right now. Come back to me in 3 years. Unless something happens to Malik Neighbors health wise, dude's going to be a stud receiver.
I'm not saying that he's not. I like Malik Neighbors.
He's really good. And look, he's going to need the right situation and the right quarterback, and they better hope it's Jackson Dart. And if Jackson Dart's any good, him and Malik Neighbors will light it up. I'm telling you.
We just got to hope that Greg Van Roten doesn't speak out about Jackson Dart like he did about Zach Wilson.
Greg. Greg is Van Smelly. That guy just needs to shut his mouth. I mean, honestly, my shoes, I spray it with Lysol to take the stench away. I don't know if I can spray him with Lysol to get him away. That guy stinks like horse, you know what. all the crap that those Eagle fans were eating on the side roads when they won the Super Bowl.
The stuff that scared away Kenyon Barner.
Kenyon Barner was on a show, and I told him he didn't even know they were eating horse crap. Okay, honest to God, that's what Greg Roden is. He's a horse crap who shouldn't even be playing for the New York Giants. Just saying.
All right, I'll move on to Jackson Dart himself. Like, what if, like, as a draft prospect, I kind of thought of him as a guy that was good at throwing on the run, intermediate throws, but still kind of raw with the shorter throws. What did you see throughout in training camp in the preseason from his growth and what the coaching staff has emphasized with him, even whenever he ends up starting?
You see a guy who has pretty good arm strength, and especially when he was in games, I thought in the preseason, like watching him every day at practice, I thought he actually threw the ball. Even he had a little extra zip on it in the preseason. But what you notice about Jackson Dart when you start watching him every day, he's more mobile than you realize, and he's big and he's physical, and he's going to want to try to run you over, which it's not always the greatest idea in the NFL. Like he tried to run over a linebacker in the preseason, and next thing you know, he's getting checked for a concussion, right? You probably want to avoid that in the NFL. It's one thing to try to run over linebackers in college. It's another thing to do in the NFL. But he's actually mobile, and you could tell he's pretty talented, and that's kind of what stood out to me. You run that the zone read type stuff, the multi option stuff with him, where he basically can hold it or throw it. Like that's the kind of offense I think you're going to see, right? And look, think about it for a second. Brian Daboll loved Jayden Daniels. So I think when all is said and done, the Giants would, if in an optimal world, like to run an offense like they run in Washington for Jayden Daniels, and that kind of fits. I don't think Jackson Dart's as good an athlete. Obviously, Jayden Daniels was a top 2 pick, right? And there's a reason why he was a top 2 pick, and Dart was 25th. But he does have some of that to him, a lot more athleticism, obviously, than a guy like Russell Wilson has at this point in his career.
Yeah. So as we've kind of covered everything, realistically, what do you think the number of wins for this team is going to be?
I mean, from the start was always at like 6. I know you watched that game the other day and you're like, can they even get to 6? I mean, if they play the way they did offensively in that game, it doesn't get better. Yeah, I'll have to. It probably won't get to 6, but I think that's a good number, somewhere around there. Their schedule's tough. They'll win some games because their defense plays well and they do just enough offensively, hit a big play here or there. But I think that's kind of what this team is, and there are avenues where they're significantly worse, which we saw the other day.
And if anybody doesn't know, we're talking to a Giants beat writer. We are talking to ESPN, NFL Nation's Giants reporter, Jordan Ronan. I before we go,
Errol, I need to know what's your win total prediction for the Giants?
Oh, actually, before game number 1, it could have went either way. I think the Giants win 6 games. That's where I think they are. I think they're a 6-win team. I think the problem is their offensive line. It's really bad, and I think that the team. I know everybody keeps talking about their running game, and they love 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭. Everybody loves him. When they had a chance to draft him, everybody was like, "Oh, I can't believe we got 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐿 later in the rounds." Great. I don't know if the Giants really have a number 1 running back. I think they're all number 2s. And Devin Singletary, I mean, nobody wants the guy. I mean, let's be honest. What do they call him? Motor? Or what do they call him? Yeah, the only motor he has is the old one in his pants. That's about it. The fact here is, when I look at this team, they don't have a predominant number 1 running back. They have they have a number 1 wide receiver. Who's their number 2? You going to bet on Hyatt? And I know Robinson had a pretty good game, but are you going to trust that guy's going to stay healthy? And let's stop calling Darius Slayton the Odell Beckham of these times. He's not.
But he's their number 2 receiver. They paid him as a number 2.
Well, they
have to use him. When you throw one pass in his direction, it's hard to do damage. He got one pass the other day. One.
That's because they know he stinks.
$12 million a year, one pass. I don't think he stinks. I actually think he could be a quality player. He's not a great player, though. They have one great player on offense. Yeah, you're right.
Neighbors.
His name is Neighbors. That's it. Malik Neighbors. That's
and
it.
That's scary. If you're a Giant fan, you got to scare. And if I was Jackson Dart, am I going to want to walk into this flame and know that I'm going to burn. I'm going out there and I'm going to say, I'm going to save the New York Giants. That's when Eli Manning came. And if you remember, Kurt Warner they had a winning record. And that was Kurt Warner. This is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
They were 5-4.
Yes, and they had Michael Strahan. They had O.C. Umeora. They had some great players, great 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭. This was a good defense and just very talented. And they actually had a running game because they also had Tiki Barber. What the hell do they have here? There's nothing here that tells me, holy crap, this team scares me. The only thing I'm scared for is Daboll, because Daboll's going to be looking for a job. He's going to be on the shopping list. And Joe Schoen, let's be honest, his drafts are up and down. Everybody keeps saying, well, this is a pretty good draft class that he had. Really? If you look at these draft classes, what has really stood out to you in any of the draft classes? He drafted this kid, Theo Johnson. Have we really seen him break out yet? Malik Neighbors is a thing. Jackson Dart, we have to find out what he is. Jalen Hyatt, he really hasn't been anything. Dexter Lawrence wasn't his guy. Brian Burns, he brought in free agency. Kayvon Thibodeau, you know what Evan Neal is. This has not been a draft. He's not been a good drafter. At least Joe Douglas, we could say the man drafts well. This guy hasn't done crap, and he decided to part ways with their best player in Saquon Barkley. Yes, I'm not a Giant fan, but I have some attitude. And if I was a Giant fan, I would do this to Joe Schoen. I would be the Hulk Hogan of Joe Schoen. I'd take him and bend him in all different, metal figures and throw him out. Guy stinks. All right? That's all I'm going to say about that.
After you do that to Spencer Rattler, because we know you want to do that first.
I'm sorry. I had to do that. As a Jet fan, oh, there he is. There he is. I honestly, man, if I was a Giant fan, I wouldn't be happy with this organization. This is an organization.
Of course you're not going to be happy with the organization. They've been bad now for the better part of, 12 years.
I'm a Jet fan. It's been 15 for me.
I know. Jets fan is a tough lifetime.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Make it worse for me. Make me feel even worse about but guess what? I got a pretty good offensive line, buddy. That's a pretty good offensive line.
That's a start. See,
yeah, I'll just say
you're feeling good about your offensive line these days.
I'm feeling good about my coach.
The Giant fans are not.
I'm feeling good about my coach, Aaron Glenn. I'm taking him seriously. He's a Bill Parcells disciple. I love everything about Aaron Glenn, and I think that the Jets are moving in the right direction. We'll see what the quarterback is in the future. Is it Justin Fields, or do they go somewhere else in the draft? But you know what, Jordan, you're doing so much great work, and for the Giants, I want to get you on probably, and Jabba would agree with me, probably towards the tail end of the season, not at the end of the season. We'll see where the Giants at, or maybe 10 games in. We'd love to get you on to see your thoughts. Let's do it. And maybe we'll talk about a different Giant team. Maybe.
Well, you know what we'll be talking about? The Jackson Dart era. That's what we're talking about.
How about let's talk about the Gremlin, Travis the Gremlin Hunter. Let's talk about that idiot, how bad he is. By the way, I told you, and you can book this. Remember this from the great one over here. I told everybody when the Jacksonville Jaguars moved up at number 2. There he is. I called him the Gremlin. He calls himself the Unicorn. I got my jersey all ready for him. I said, this guy's not going to last more than 7 years in the NFL. He will not have an interception as a corner this year. He'll have maybe 3 touchdowns. He's not even going to break 700 yards. I'm going to tell you this right now. He is one of the biggest bust Heisman Trophy winners of all time. You can book it, sail away, like Christopher Cross said, as he sang it away when it goes all the way to the record books, as I was right about the one and only.
There you go. Hot takes galore.
There you go. Jordan, we love you.
All right, let's book it. I'll see you week 10.
Looks good. Sounds good. You're good. Keep riding, baby. We
appreciate
love
it, fellas.
Jordan and Ronan. It's great. He's great. Everything's great. What a sale. Giant fans, did I sell you enough? You should love my takes about the New York Giants. Don't hate on me. I was just trying to help. Anyways, how could you not like that interview? I gave a good interview.
I love the interview. I don't like your takes about the Giants.
They stink. There's nothing.
Doesn't mean I have to love it, even if it's correct.
Well, I was just being honest. I mean, if you're a Giant fan and you're going to bet on
Lie to me, Errol. Lie to me. Tell me it's going to be all right.
Here's what the Giants should do. When Breece Hall becomes a free agent, that's who they should be jumping on.
Oh, they love doing it. They love doing that. They love signing the ex-Jets players.
If I were the Giants in the offseason, if Breece Hall becomes available, which he probably will, that's who I go after if I'm the New York Giants.
Maybe they'll add on Elijah Vera Tucker, too.
Just saying. Just saying. I'm helping you out, Giant fans. Think about it. Breece Hall becomes a free agent. That's the guy you want. And he gets to stay in New York, and he still gets to play at MetLife. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen.
They love doing that. They did that with Lawrence Cager, 𝐶𝐨_Simone's favorite player. They did that with Jason Pinnock. What's next?
I just want to say something about this story, this podcast. All right. Silver spoke about Kawhi Leonard today, and I was talking to you about it. I was watching. I was running on my treadmill. Yes, Jabba, I was doing cardio. I was enjoying myself, and I got a chance to see the one and only ugly Adam Silver with his big ears, his big nose, and his ugly look. All right, he looks like Mr. Ed. All right, that's what he looks like. And there was some interesting things he said at his press conference. You guys ready to hear this? Because I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I'd frankly never heard of a company called Aspirations before. And I never heard a whiff of anything around endorsement deals for Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it was all new to me. I heard it, I saw something, and followed up with information. So this is what the commissioner of the NBA comes out. He wants us to believe he knew nothing about Aspirations. He's never even heard of the company Aspirations. Hold on. I got more for you guys because the owner spoke out too, which is very interesting. These are guys who committed fraud, Ballmer said. Look, they conned me. They conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on and up and up. And they conned me at this stage. I have no ability to predict why they might have done anything they did, let alone specific contracts with Kawhi. So what Ballmer is saying is that Aspirations conned him for investing into their company, but he doesn't know why anybody believes that him using Aspirations and investing into them, they were getting money or investing money from the Aspirations to go to Kawhi. Are you kidding me? What stupidity. Do you really think that we're that dumb? Do you really think that as a media guys or broadcasters, you think we're that stupid? I honestly, and Adam Silver, stop it. Stop going out there. You want to protect your owners, and then you want to protect the players. And then when it comes to ownership and if they open their mouths, you throw the owners on the bus to protect the players because those are the superstars that are putting fannies in the seats. You are an idiot. Adam Silver, you're a complete jackass. And to go out there on national television to report this just tells me you're clueless as a commissioner. Absolutely clueless on what's going on with the league. You've never heard of Aspirations when it was on the jerseys? How do you not see it on the jerseys? Are you that blind? Are you that dumb? I mean, seriously, you got to be stupid. And you're going to go out there and tell the fans, well, I know what Aspirations are. I never ever heard of it. You're an idiot. Jackass. Dumbass. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Errol, they would have been fine if Kawhi Leonard just had to do a commercial, say, global warming is real, have aspirations to make the environment a better place, did a PSA, that's what his salary's for, and then they wouldn't have done anything.
It would have went from no show to like, oh yeah, he got paid so much to do so little. But yeah, I guess you kind of relate it to name, image, likeness. It's like, yeah, you can pay him whatever you want, but it would have really been easy for them just to, or have somebody fake go on. I don't think he has social media, but just do something to where like he, like put a sign out, a billboard or something like that's you. It's not like you had to do a lot. Silver did not help himself by any means, and he never does. But yeah, they literally didn't have to do much to make this basically be swept under the rug.
Aspirations? I've never even heard of it. What the hell is Aspirations? I've never heard of the company. I don't even know what they invested. And then you have Ballmer go out there and throw it under the bus like, oh yeah, they conned me. They conned me. So
They said he conned him, and then he only had like what? He said he only had like 5% ownership or something like that.
it was the how do you go up there on television and then the owner comes out? Don't you speak to the owner before you go and speak in front of the media? What are you, you an idiot?
It doesn't look like it, does it?
You have to be an idiot. This guy is the commissioner. Disney wanted to make him the CEO. ESPN is buying the WWE and the NFL Network, and they're going to leave this guy in charge? What a joke. Guys, I know everybody's going to say, well, you shouldn't be throwing any of the commissioners under the bus if you want to work for any of these organizations. Listen, if I sat down with any kind of CEO or commissioners or anything, are you going to tell me that I have to kiss your ass to tell you how dysfunctional you are as a commissioner and how the league should be run? You should already know how the league should be run. David Stern gave you a freaking league at the time that was at a growing standpoint. He left when LeBron James was, 5 years in it? And that was the guy that they left the league to. And he's a superstar player. Michael Jordan, then him. And before that, it was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Before that, who was it? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell and on and on and on. Let's be honest. When you sit here and you look at Adam Silver, besides his ugly ears and his big nose and his ugly glasses and his horse look-alike face, I can't sit here and take this man for any serious notion that this man knows what he's doing. And to go out there and make himself look like a complete fool on national television? A joke. It's a joke. I'm done.
Maybe he has
Sell it.
Maybe he has the brain.
Book it. Let me write a book about it.
Maybe he has the brain of a horse too, the way he's speaking.
Well, I will say this. Sean Smith, I know Fish is trying to find some Sean Smith
No,
stuff.
I wanted him to find the Sean Smith Eras Tour graphic for my What's That Smell?
So I'll go back to Sean Smith, and I don't care if Sean Smith is listening, and he probably isn't because he's a jackass. I want to say something. I got to say this, and I want him. We can send this take to Sean Smith. Sean Smith would be a better commissioner than Adam Silver. You know why? Because at least Sean Smith, that jackass, would be out there and about smoking his marijuana, driving his car, and showing himself to be a jackass when he's putting himself and his family at risk, than Adam Silver going out there and speaking about the league and telling everybody that he's never heard of an organization or a company when it was on their freaking team's jersey. Two idiots. I would take Sean Smith running the NBA than freaking Adam Silver, because both guys are jackasses. There's just one's more big of a jackass than the other. So that's all I'm going to say. And Sean Smith, you can kiss my ass. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do we got here? What are we going?
We got some baseball, Errol.
Jabba, don't worry. Jabba, don't worry. I'll take it. You don't have to worry about him. I got him. We'll just tag team. I'll clothesline him. We'll put on what was the Beastie Boys move? What was that Beastie Boys move? I'll pick him up and you clothesline him. What was that? What are they called?
Beastie Boys.
Not the Beastie Boys. The
Dudley Boys.
Dudley Boys?
3D.
3D.
Let's do the 3D on him.
I was trying to think. You said Beastie Boys. I was like, what song is he trying to think about? Like, are we going to brass monkey?
Intergalactic or something?
No,
What are you talking about?
Brooklyn, No Sleep to Brooklyn. That's my song.
Now, when is this going to happen?
That's
Is this going to
my
happen before or
soul.
after?
No Sleep to.
Now, the real question is this going to happen before or after you and Ryan Spader's tag team match against Rob Manford?
I don't care about that. I think me and Jabba versus Sean Smith,
But
I'm
who's
sure it's
lifting
Eddie Van
up-
Halen on guitar on that album, by the way.
Who's
for the
lifting
Beastie
Sean
Boys.
Smith up to do the 3D? Are you lifting him up? Or do the
I
clothesline?
think I have a better chance of getting him from behind and picking him up with my.
So
my
Jabba's
back.
doing the clothesline.
I want Jabba to clothesline him. I think Jabba's a
Whoa. What are you talking about? The 3D is not a clothesline. It is a diamond cutter off of a lift.
Whatever.
Come
You're
on,
the
man.
wrestling fans. I don't.
Come on, Tommy. You're better than that.
Whatever. You could do the diamond cutter. I'll do the lifting. You do the cutter, and then we'll splash them. I'll do the Hulk Hogan leg drop, even though it was probably the worst finisher.
That was a bad finisher.
So the Hulk Hogan leg drop
what?
hurt him physically to the point where he couldn't walk. Like you don't realize you drop on like your tailbone and on like your leg like that over and over again. That's gonna do damage, dude. I saw
They
him a couple
say that
years
one
before he
and
died.
the people's that and the people's elbow were two of the worst.
Speaking of the leg drop too, Fish. Matt Hardy remembers doing a leg drop off the top of a steel cage. He said that he walked like a 90-year-old man, like with a little kink in his step, for like a whole 2 years after that. So it does do some damage. The leg drop overall, honestly.
Let's rename the move called the shrink wrap. We'll call it the shrink wrap.
There it is. That's your finishing move, Errol. The shrink wrap.
Shrink wrap.
That's the perfect. I'm gonna name.
That's what you do. You get saran wrap. You just find the guy. You saran wrap him to the turnbuckle.
Mess with me and I'll shrink wrap you.
That's a Dexter finishing move.
Fish, on a side
Yeah,
note,
like Dexter.
Dexter finishing move there.
What was that, Speedy?
On a side note, you actually inadvertently just named Josh's final segment on his show. You're better than that.
I
on
need
Game
a
On.
gin and tonic.
And then when they had their wrestling show, they finished it off with finishing move.
Hey, listen, you got to figure something. I like the shrink wrap. That's a pretty cool name, actually. That is unique.
You just invented it. It's organic.
Yes. Watch out, Sean Smith. I will shrink wrap ya. I like the little the Vince McMahon voice. I will shrink wrap ya. Do that, Speedy. You got to try.
I will shrink wrap ya.
No, you sound like a killer.
You're fired,
Speedy,
Austin.
can you do that? Can you say you're fired?
Sounds
Vince
like he's
McMahon?
constipated. Right.
You're
fired. That's a good cut right there.
That is pretty good.
Speedy, can you do any like good old JR, by the way, like Jim Ross? Like, can you give me through hellfire and brimstone, it's Kane? But say, it's Kane!
It's Kane!
Oh, you know it's a good one? You remember with when Rikishi or when The Rock
snapping a Kit Kat bar.
When The Rock shoved Vince McMahon's face into Rikishi's ass, you hear Jim Ross, "Oh, Lucifer's lips on the biggest ass in the WWF."
Yum yum.
That was a good one.
If it's favorite wrestling drop, is that what I'm hearing?
Breaking news. Butt plug.
As he yells. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we call this Inside Baseball.
Now let's go deep inside.
What? I am excited.
This is Inside Baseball.
All right, guys, we got a few stories we kind of just threw together for you. There's a couple that we've been following. Goody was going to do it. He could not make it tonight. He's really shaken up by some of the stuff that happened today. I guess he was a really big fan. So I just wanted to shout out Goody right now. Let's get into some music for baseball. Tommy, here it is. Big news. He blew his save, of course, because I'm starting him in the fantasy playoffs right now. But Aroldis Chapman has had a scoreless streak at 50 straight. Job, you got this one for me? 50 straight for Chapman. Here it is. He had given up
50
one
straight
hit.
without a hit or a run.
50 straight batters, one hit. Chapman this year is the #1 closer in baseball for the Red Sox. It's not particularly close. He is dominated this season. He's got a 1.14 ERA. He's vintage, and maybe he's like a tick down with the velocity compared to his height.
What a joke.
But he is dominating. He's the best closer in baseball this year. Can you believe at this point, and look, we know what he's got a little bit of a checkered past, but the guy wins everywhere he goes, and he's an excellent player. If he keeps doing this for a couple more years, there's going to have to be some real talks about him, being one of the greats of all time. He won't.
What he did, okay? It is an amazing story, but we all know, and Jabba could tell you, relief pitchers come, and then they go. They have one good season, and then they have a bad season. They have one good season, and they have 3 bad seasons. It's just it's a nice story to hear that Aroldis Chapman, playing in the American League East, one of the hardest divisions in all of baseball, is having probably one of his best seasons since Cincinnati, since the Cincinnati time. It's a great story. I could care less. It doesn't matter. The Red Sox aren't going nowhere, so it's worthless.
What do you mean? They're tied with the Yankees.
They're not going anywhere.
They're going to play in the playoffs. That's right.
Who cares? They're not winning anything. It doesn't really matter. So it doesn't matter.
I mean, they're a playoff team. They're not the freaking Sacramento A's,
They're
It's
not
not
going.
that bad.
Why are they the scapegoat right now? More than you have the Rockies that are like 40 and 119 or whatever. But yeah,
They're not selling me with Aroldis Chapman.
I'm not saying the Red Sox are going to the make or break with anything is going to be with Aroldis Chapman or any of the other relievers.
You know what I want to do with Aroldis Chapman? I want to wipe my ass with him. He was with the Yankees. The Yankees paid him so much money. Did absolutely nothing for the Yankees. Okay,
I wouldn't say he did nothing. He was he was a really good closer.
Did they ever win with him?
Well, you know why they didn't win? Because Altuve's got the buzzer going like this because he knows what pitch is coming, or else he would have won.
Did they win?
That's fine. You could say that, but I would say that they. Jabba, you're muted, but I definitely want to hear what you got to say about.
I just said they haven't won with anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Fish, I want to mention before Jabba goes too. The Nationals might have just gone on too good of an underdog run. You might have not beaten them anyway.
I don't care.
They took out the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals, and then a cheating Astros team.
Obviously. Yeah, Aroldis Chapman. What I do remember is when he went to the Cubs and he won a World Series, and that was the last time that he actually pitched well in the playoffs. Okay, that was the last time with the Cubs.
I don't want to see him in the playoffs. Do you right now?
No. I don't want to see him in general. And literally, they've came out and said this is legitimately the first year that he's been able. Why he's not throwing as hard is because he's tried to locate his fastball. And if you look at his fastball command and strike percentage, it's the best it's ever been because he just basically, instead of just trying to throw it, which he's still throwing hard, but not as crazy hard as he has, but he still touched 104. But yeah, that's crazy to think about. Like, I don't care if you're 27, if you're 7, to not give up a hit or a run. Like, good for him. Whether you don't like him as a person, who cares? But that's pretty impressive. But and then when he was with New York, he averaged almost 30 saves other than the year that he was hurt. So it's not like he wasn't good.
He's very steady. He's gonna compile enough numbers to be a top 10 closer of all time before he's all said and done.
450 saves if he plays long enough.
You realize that means he's a top 10 closer of all time. That's what it means if he can have those numbers. I mean, maybe you didn't think of him while you were watching it, but I think people would have said that, growing up in the 70s, watching some of the guys that got ahead too. So just wanted to bring that one up. We got another story here. Let's get into some Yankees baseball.
Let's not, please.
Volpe sat today. Says it's an ongoing saga. Here's Boone on the situation. They decided to sit him. He was hitting balls off a tee placed at home plate. A half hour later, they announced the starting lineup, and he's not in it. Caballero's in it. That sounds like it's weird that he was hitting like that. Like, I guess they thought he was playing. Boone says, we're in day-to-day mode. We're playing for a lot right now, and I have a decision to make every day with the lineup. Allegedly, I guess he has a decision to make with the lineup. And whatever tough decision I think that is, I'll make it. And my hope is that he can kind of get it going here to a point where he's that guy. Because I think when we're at our best, he's out there impacting us on both sides of the ball and frees up Cabby to play a different role too. But that said, I'll make a decision day by day. He's batting 171 with a 573 OPS in 63 games since June 25th.
He's the worst in baseball in the last 72 games.
He's terrible. He sucks out loud. He makes errors still. He looks like... I just don't understand how you can keep trotting him out at this point. And that's not even to talk about the pen. We'll start with Volpe.
It's not him. It's Brian Cashman and all the analytic guys. They have nobody else. They're going to fill the spot in. They don't really have anybody on that roster that really isn't a dominant shortstop. You know where the Yankees are going to be going in the offseason. They're going to be looking for a competent shortstop that actually can hit. And you know what's so funny? Somebody came up to me, this guy, Mike. I want to give a shout out to Mike. I know you're listening to the show right now. You came to me a couple of days ago when I was running on a treadmill, and you said the biggest mistake the Yankees made was get rid of Didi Gregorius. He brought it up to me. Ever since Didi Gregorius has been gone, they have not filled in that shortstop position since then, and he was the heart and soul of those teams when they were making runs in the playoffs. I absolutely agree. Didi Gregorius, ever since he left, the Yankees have not found a person or a player to fill in that spot, and it's been a big problem. I think that the Yankees right now are in a position where they're just guessing. and they're trying to figure out who can fill in that hole. And that's the hardest and most difficult defensive position besides catcher to play on a baseball field, especially in the playoffs. You're putting a youngster in a position to fail. And I'm not trusting that Volpe is the right guy in the playoffs if the Yankees are going to get over the hump and go to the World Series again. I'm scared just thinking about Volpe on this roster.
You want to think the mentality at this point when the Yankees are trying to battle through, no matter what spot they end up getting into, whether they win the division, whether they are one of the wild card teams, you want to still have the positive mentality. Why is it just like, all right, say Cavaliero's playing very good and not throw Volpe under the bus like that and just say, all right, it's a defensive speed, whatever replacement, put him in second. Or
They're both not good.
I know that. Caballero, at least you could play multiple positions. He obviously cooled off after his hot start after he got traded from the Rays, but still, why didn't think of that as more of a positive rather than trying to put yourself in the headlines much more than you have to with the Yankees still kind of up and down at this point, even though they'll probably make the playoffs now.
Yeah, I mean, Boone said it's day-to-day, which what does day-to-day mean? I mean, he said that before, but yeah, it sucks. And as much as the game has changed where it's become analytical and, last 72 games, he's the worst statistically. And you're not trying to, kick him while he's down and pour salt in the wound. It's just, it is what it is. And you can work as hard as you want. And obviously they're showing that he's working and he cares, but sometimes it's just, it doesn't come across. You got to go and start a new day and see what happens. But I don't think it's your best choice to run him out there right now. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think it's him.
Hey, here's the answer. Just don't play a shortstop. I think you're better off.
Yeah, just get a couple of third basemen, have them split the difference. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Just play the shift.
Not allowed anymore. Not allowed.
I know, but that's what I would do right now.
advocated for it too.
I would now. If I had Joe Madden, I'd just shift the third baseman. That's what I would.
So if the Volpe stuff with Boone isn't maddening enough, let me raise you 2 really good starts by our starting pitchers the last 2 games. Only 2 runs given up in 6 innings in the last 2 starts by Will Warren and Carlos Rodon. What does the bullpen do? Yesterday, giving up 10 runs in 3 innings. Today, giving up 9 runs in 3 innings. And they get blown out 12-2 and 11-2 by a real team with terrible ownership, as we found out, leadership in their front office, but a much better baseball team than them in the Tigers right now. What are they doing with this pen, man?
You know what? I'm going to let Jabba go first because he knows a little bit more about the pen than I do. So go ahead, Jabba.
I mean, where do I start? I was looking up stuff, and then Katie Sharp, she is great with stats on there, and it's the first time in franchise history the bullpen's given up 9+ in back-to-back games, and it's the first time since 1988. Since 1988, and before that was 1908, that they've had back-to-back 10+ run losses. Like, this is a bad stretch, and literally we talked. They went 4-2 against the Astros and the Blue Jays, and after they have 2 good series, which that's a good series. You go and you're above 500 against those 2 teams, put yourself in a great position. And not to say the Tigers aren't very good, but now you need to go in and keep that momentum, and they've absolutely laid an egg. I don't know what you do with the pen at this point. Let's go Bull Durham. You sacrifice a chicken, or what? I don't have any idea at this point. It sucks because it feels like you're saying the same thing over and over. But who are you going to run out now? Like, you don't really. Do you flip a coin and see what's going to happen? I have no idea.
You're all about flipping coins, so
I don't know. You were talking about Max Scherzer. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was making fun of CB Buckner he was flipping a coin on CB, calling strikes and balls. It was hilarious.
You want to know something? Here's the problem with the New York Yankees. They spent drafts. They gave away pieces to bring in these pitchers. You brought in 2 quality relief pitchers, and since they've come to the Yankees, they haven't done really anything. You have Devin Williams, who was the best closer in baseball for how many years? This was a top 3 bullpen arm for so many years. He comes to the Yankees. He's one of the worst in the league. How bad could he get?
No, he is the worst in the league. He's over 50 innings pitched qualifying. He has the highest ERA in baseball.
It's horrible. How does that happen? I mean, I understand it's New York. I understand there's a lot of pressure, but how much pressure are you going through? I mean, it's just, it's pathetic. And again, to me, the most important part of the playoffs is how your bullpen is doing going into the playoffs. And the Yankees right now don't look very good. As you heard from Jabba, the numbers would tell you they're as bad as they can be. So I'm starting to get worried. Even if they're the number one team in the wild card, that doesn't bode well for them, even if they have home field advantage.
No, and
I'm rather than not have home field advantage and play in a bigger ballpark. I think they got a better chance.
Right now it's the Red Sox, so it's not that much bigger. But either way, like you said, I want to relate this back to what you were talking about with Chapman, Jabba. Like sometimes you see organizations try to have their pitchers change different styles, and that's what all the praise I was giving them with the Dodgers, like rebirthing all these random pitchers that were failures on other teams. The Yankees seem to like doing the opposite, where I liked Camilo Doval when they traded for him, and Fish, you know this as a fantasy guy, like from 22 to 24, like the beginning of 24, he was probably, along with Hader and Diaz, the best closer in baseball for that stretch. But it seems like they're trying to do too many bad things of what he's been doing in the past. And same kind of thing with David Bednar, just too much you can't trust with these relievers.
I don't know. I just see like a bunch of guys that are put in a uniform and not really a team.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like teams that win championships don't play like this. I'm sorry. You know, like they can get hot, but this is not what championship winning baseball looks like to me. I just don't see it. If they can somehow, you know, survive and win the AL East if Toronto collapses, maybe they got a shot, you know, getting lucky with a good matchup in the first round. But I can't see any other way they get out of it. And I really don't think they get past the wild card. I don't think they can if they're gonna play like this. I mean, if Max Fried goes 6 innings, shut up all, they're still going to lose 9-0 putting in the guys in this pen. I mean, think about it. Like, what are you going to do?
And who do you put in at what situation?
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Right.
I guess Bednar is the closer because he's
the only
one that
one.
hasn't sucked.
Yep.
You know, of all the guys they got. I mean, Doval, you said it was a good player once upon a time, but, you know, I would assume after playing that many innings, he's got some wear and tear on the arm, and he's probably adjusted mechanically because it hurts a little bit, and he's not exactly the same guy. Maybe he can get healthy and become that guy again, but he isn't right now. So who cares? He isn't going to help us right now. They got a bunch of guys who have it. The worst one was, Jake Bird. They traded for him. He gave up like 25 runs and got 2 outs, and they had to throw him in the minors. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he's just hanging out in AAA now.
Yeah, they ain't bringing him back. That was terrible. Anyway, the reason why I bring up that they could still sneak into the AL East because I'm going to go through a little injury report with you guys right now. And I'm going to go down the list of injuries from this week. And the big one starts in Toronto with Bo Bichette going on to the 10-day IL. He had a left knee sprain on September 9th, retroactive to September 7th. This is a guy who had a bounce-back year, but the problem with him was his knees since he got hurt a couple of years ago. I think he played through a torn MCL a couple of years ago. He's never been the same. This is the best he's looked since back then. And guess what? It's another knee problem right now. If they don't have them, I don't know if Toronto's a World Series contender.
I didn't think they were anyway, but definitely not if they don't have him because that's the speed element you need in the playoffs.
He'll be fine. They're just right now protecting him and making sure that he's going to be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they're going to protect him to the point, like you're saying, Fish, it would take a monumental collapse for them to like miss the playoffs completely. I don't love their playoff identity either way, but like they definitely need him in order to make it work because the lineup depth, while it is pretty good, needs somebody like that that's electric to get on base. And I get great.
Is he a free agent after this year?
Yeah, I don't think they extended him.
And if I were the Yankees, that's what I'm gunning for. I'd move him to shortstop.
I think he's damaged goods, man. I really am afraid of him. Here's the play that he got hurt on. It was against the Yankees. It was Austin Wells' play at the plate, and very simple play. Got a single. We're gonna have a play at the plate. And you guys take a look. That doesn't look like just an ordinary injury. He went right to the bottom of the knee. That's usually some kind of meniscus or like patella tendon type of thing. they're not saying exactly what was sprained. If it's a patella tendon sprain, well, you ain't seeing him the rest of this season. Sorry. I don't care how good he is. It was raining that day. You could see in this. Not great, guys. Not great for them if they lose him. But the Yankees might benefit from it. We'll see with Bichette. Looking at some of the other injuries, there's another big injury. He's been playing through a bunch of pain in the second half. Another big-time free agent you think that the Yankees should get, Errol. Yeah, I'm talking about Cubs outfielder Kyle Tucker. We've seen a lot of calf injuries this year. Some that have turned in basketball into Achilles injuries that have really hurt franchises. I think Tucker, I had Tucker in fantasy as my big get. I'll tell you what, I'm very, as a fantasy guy, pissed off at him. But you want a guy that's going to play through pain. But he's in a contract year. Not a smart move for a guy in a contract year. He played through a broken thumb for a couple of months. He played through it, and he was bad, right? He was bad. So his numbers are a little depressed in the second half of the year. Now he has a calf problem. The Cubs are definitely contenders, but they need this guy back, don't they?
They're going to pay him. And it seems like he's staying with the Cubs. Everything that I've read, that it would be like the Yankees are going to have to absolutely overload a significant amount of money to pry him away from the Cubs. He loves Chicago. He wants to stay there, and he believes they can win a championship over there. I think he's going to be fine. Another guy that they're just going to protect and wait for the playoffs. He's fine. Calf injuries are calf injuries. Jabba would know more.
Calf injury could be 6 weeks.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, they're, like you said, Fish, they're safe enough as a contender now where they can try to be minimalized, even if they in some games as well. Like I mentioned, I don't trust their pitching in the playoffs. I haven't trusted with the trade deadline moves, but they still have built enough of wins, as well as the Brewers are playing. They're not going to win the division, but they're not the Mets and the Padres that have just been streaky in the second half of the season where they were at risk of losing their playoff spot. They're kind of sealed at this point in the first wild card.
Yeah, it sucks no matter what injury, even if you're trying to protect him and you don't want it to get worse, and you don't really have that much time. So I don't think for him to go to it that fast, and for him to have previous knee injuries kind of tells me something too. Like there was something like, usually you try to walk it off like, oh, I got caught, but that was very blatantly like, ouch, that hurt. Immediately went to it. He wouldn't even let IKF put his arm around him like he was trying to get off. So it sucks for him just because you don't want to go into the playoffs banged up, because then, like we talked about earlier, it can affect you in more ways than one. Your performance going into your walk year and how you go into the playoffs. So yeah, it's protecting him or not. That's a key component for them to get to where they want to go.
All right. The next major injury that happened, and by the way, they also have their closers on the injured list too. Danny Palencia. The Cubs lost their closer for a short time. We'll see how he is, but he came out of nowhere this year and was pretty solid for them. Trey Turner, though, pulled his hamstring, and the Phillies, who were competing, they obviously clinched, but a hamstring strain, you never know until you see the degree of it. Didn't look great when he went down, so we'll see what happens. But Trey Turner having one of the best seasons he's had in a little while, really kind of brought some of the power back to his bat. He's really been the top of their lineup, driving it, being on base for Kyle Schwarber and Harper and those guys. I mean, and obviously Alec Bombs had been injured all year. He's back on the IL. But they got a lot of firepower. But they need that guy at the top to really jumpstart it.
Trey Turner. I remember when he won the World Series with the Nationals. Do you remember that? He had a hurt foot throughout the playoffs, and he played with a hurt foot. The foot was all messed up, and the guy played, and he played well. He's another guy. They're going to just protect him. They already clinched. Let him sit out for the next week and a half before the playoffs start, and you'll be fine. He's another one. I'm not really worried about Trey Turner. The guy plays hurt. The only reason why he's probably going to sit out and he's going to take care of himself because they already clinched. They don't need him to play. And the best thing to do is to make sure that he's ready for the playoffs. So I'm not really worried.
Yeah, they have enough lineup depth, so sure. The Mets are free falling, so the Phillies will win the division at some point, probably either this weekend or next week.
Right now, the Philadelphia Phillies are probably the team to beat even with
I know,
Milwaukee. They're the team to
I
beat.
agree with you on that. They were my pick at the start of the year, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be. Oh, yeah, their bullpen has blunders on occasion, but, like, obviously Zach Wheeler's injury hurts, but they have a ton of starting depth. But like, even that, like, for the short term, is not going to be as concerning. They're definitely a threat. If their bullpen is even just average, I think they're going to be fine. I agree with you.
And I don't trust Milwaukee either.
I don't either. The Milwaukee, I mentioned a few weeks ago, screamed.
They just got swept.
They screamed 2021 Giants today. Like, they're having a nice season. They can pitch, but their offense, is it that trustworthy? I don't know.
They're young.
I'm with you. The Phillies are as dangerous as it gets, as much as it pains me doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Turner, obviously, with his legs, you got to protect your hamstring. I mean, hamstrings can linger forever, and the only break really for a hamstring is rest, and he's obviously not going to get that now. But their lineup's so deep with what they can do, and they've been battling injuries anyways. But yeah, they're stacked. Obviously, you got a guy like Schroeder that's kind of holding everything down there, but their lineup top to bottom, and you get guys half healthy there. I would say they're one of the favorites. They're top 3 for sure.
Definitely
pitching wise, we'll see.
All of baseball, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see pitching wise what they can if it holds up, and we'll see what happens.
So, just wanted to get to one last part of this. Before I do, just talking about the Astros, Luis Garcia Jr. came back from Tommy John. Looks like after his second start, might have a second procedure. Really bad luck for the youngster. And Hader hasn't resumed throwing yet for the Astros, so that's kind of worrisome at this point that he hasn't even ramped back up. So they may be in trouble over there with the pitching. And let's finish off with the two teams you just mentioned. The Brewers and the Mets are down a couple of McGills. Yes, Trevor McGill is injured, and so is Tyler. And we may not see either one of them back during the regular season. Trevor McGill, obviously the closer for the first place Brewers. That's a problem for them. He threw live batting practice. He's going to try to get another batting practice in this weekend, and then he might be able to come back. He's been out for a while. That could be part of their swoon a little bit, not being able to hold leads late in the game without him. They then had Shelby Miller, who they acquired to take his place and set up for him. He felt a pop. He's got a torn elbow. He's done. So they kind of are going through it as well. Tyler McGill, the Mets, let's see what it says. Right elbow sprain, has continued to experience forearm tightness, and he is shut down. Not a great day to be a McGill, unfortunately, in Major League Baseball.
There you go.
And there it is. That's Inside Baseball for this evening, boys.
And by the way, Tyler McGill was supposed to come on our show, but backed out at the last minute. And I'm not wishing anything bad harm for Tyler McGill. I think he's a great pitcher, and I think the Mets need him. But
they're going to, because their pitchers don't have length.
They have a bunch of young kids, man, and
they're pitching well though. It's just
are you going to trust the youngsters in the playoffs?
I don't know. It's tough to tell right now.
I wouldn't. That's a lot of pressure.
I don't trust anything right now.
That's a lot of pressure on a bunch of kids. I know what Job is going to say. You have nothing to lose, but it's still, to me, you're putting a kid in a position. You know, and a lot of fans they're expected with the money that they paid Juan Soto and Lindor and all these free agents that they brought in. They're expected to make a run.
Oh yeah, they're definitely still going to be thought of as a good playoff identity with what they did last year too. And they're gonna, like I said,
who are they matched up right now if the season were done?
So it would be the Cubs, I believe, right now.
They're screwed.
It's flip flopping with them and the Padres. I think who gets that second and third wild card.
They're
spot,
better
right?
off with the Padres. They do not want to play the Cubs.
Well, no, they wouldn't play. They wouldn't play the Padres in that case. I believe they would play the Phillies again.
Then they'll be even more screwed.
I'm worried about the Phillies too. I agree with you. I think the Mets right now, they're going to have to try to be creative with kind of those stretch guys at the moment. That's why I agree with. I think they need McGill because he can pitch in both roles and still be, I guess, valuable in that way because you can't trust these guys to get length.
I just don't trust the young kids. I'm not saying the young kids aren't good. McLean's special. Tong is good. They've got some good sprung. These are good young pitchers, but you cannot trust that these guys are going to be your guys in the playoffs. It's scary. And if I was a kid, and again, Jabba's done it before, but Jabba had veteran players. Like you're talking about Derek Jeter. Look at the players that Jabba had on his roster when they won a World Series in 2009. You're talking about Hall of Famers from top to bottom. Mark Teixeira is a borderline Hall of Famer at first base. CC Sabathia, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera. You go up and down. When you look at this team, you have Lindor, okay. You have Soto, okay. Pete Alonso. after that, they're all young. Nimmo, you're going to bet on these youngsters. You're going to bet, and nobody in that with that roster, as far as pitching is concerned, where you're going to trust that these guys are going to have your back. Clay Holmes, are you going to bet him? Bet on him?
No, Clay Holmes is not going to have
He's going to be in the bullpen.
I know.
But that's what I'm saying. I'd be worried if I was a Met fan with the pitching and what the pitching's going to give you in length. So I disagree. I think the Mets are in a lot of trouble. That's all I'm going to say.
It just
I will have the Nimmos on my back at all time. One of the greatest families ever.
I'm sure. I know you hang out with his brother and you know the family. So that's great. I think Nimmo's a great defensive player. I think there's a lot of pressure not on Nimmo, but the young pitchers. I think the Mets are expected to compete with the money that Steve Cohen paid. Remember, Steve Cohen said 5-year plan. They're going to win a World Series. It's been over 5 years, and now they just paid Juan Soto almost $800 million. I mean, if you're a Met fan, you'd have to be worried about depending on these youngsters. And you have Senga, who they paid money to come here to America, who's now in the minor leagues in Syracuse.
He'll be in the bullpen in the playoffs, too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we call this What's That Smell?
Hold up. What is that smell?
What's that smell? Wow, you don't see that every day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty simple. This is an easy segment. You know how it gets done. We're going to tell you a story, and we're going to tell you what it smells like. It could smell like whatever you want it to smell like. And Speedy's, whatever smells he's trying to bring out of
this
the
week
pan.
We'll feature Sean Smith.
I mean, that would it's going to be interesting. Anyways, I'm going to go poops. I'm going to go fish. I'm going to go Speedy, Jabba, me. Here we go.
All right. So, to start off my What's That Smell, let me raise the music a little louder. It's a little low. But I'm going to be going to this past weekend of NFL games. We all saw the first Sunday of week 1 with the NFL. And we also talked about the Colts and Dolphins matchup that we saw. Of course, a lot of good things if you're a Colts fan, if you want to see it offensively and defensively. And, of course, offensively, Errol can attest to the Daniel Jones performance. But I want to go and focus on the defense more because safety,
looking for Tyreek Hill. Too high.
I don't know why that says any volume, but Cam Bynum, new Colts safety Cam Bynum, actually got himself a pick in the first quarter of the game against Tua. And I want to focus on what the hell is this touchdown celebration. I don't know what that is right there. That's like an ants in my pants kind of dance right there. I'm going to replay it again for you guys. I don't know what that is. Oh, my God. He literally is like gyrating his hips while also, I don't even know what is going on there. It looks like he has ants in his pants. I'm not sure. Maybe he has.
Look that up. He's been practicing that. Like, there's videos of him when he's a kid.
10 years ago, right? I seen that exactly. 10 years ago, he practiced when he wanted to do that dance. And hey, Cam, looks like you got it. However, it's a little goofy to point out. However, great performance. He had himself a game, honestly. But what does that smell like? Well, it smells like a dude wipe after Daniel Jones was finished with that Miami Dolphins team. So there you go.
Cam Bynum was on that Vikings team that loved to do a lot of those crazy celebrations before he signed with the Colts. So he probably got it from there.
All right, I'll take over the next one. Tommy, you got to hit mute when you play videos and download them yourself.
My bad.
There we go. Oh, here it is. I talked about this in the Sports Minute a week ago. Yes, Drake, the artist, put a $300,000 bet on
I am a legend.
The mush
to win the U.S. Open. But what does everybody know about Drake other than he got clapped by Kendrick last summer?
He loses every bet that he puts in.
He loses every bet, and he tells everybody about it so we can all watch him lose together. We knew that Sinner was going to lose, who was just unstoppable until the bet was placed by Drake. What a mistake. Of course he fell to Alcaraz for the second time in a major this year. He won the other two. He finished second in two. Guess what? Drake bet on him on both of the ones. He lost this calendar year. What does that smell like? Well, Drake, it smells like syrup sandwich flavored humble pie. Time for you to sit down.
I did the one 3 months ago with him doing the Leafs bet, and now he just stole.
He also bet on the Ravens to beat the Bills, and like I said, we all know how that turned out.
I don't know when I was making my picks. All right, I'll move on to a story about Bill Belichick and his girlfriend getting rejected by offered 4 different trademarks by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, which basically there were 4 different of Bill Belichick's sayings: the Bellustrator in 2009, "Do Your Job" in 2013, and then the 2 with the Super Bowl parade: "No days off," and then "Ignore the noise." And they're trying to spoof it like Taylor Swift with parentheses Bill's version, just trying to be unoriginal whatsoever. Just now trying to shed more Taylor Swift highlights into the NFL too. So, what does that smell like? It smells like new Taylor Swift Eras Tour singer Sean Smith, sweaty after losing his wrestling match with 𝐿&𝐵𝐺, doused in some famous North Carolina tar, performing for those Swifties.
Speedy has the most elaborate smells. Like, I don't
With
even
no
know.
deodorant.
His smell just doesn't stop at like 2 things. It's a whole.
I have to incorporate Sean Smith.
I would have just said it
It's
smelled
like a biosphere of smells.
I think I would have just said it smells like Sean Smith's ass, which is probably stanky.
I'm going to go with what's that smell is I think I smell an ass whooping coming, and there's going to need a lot of dude wipes when Terrence Bud Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska takes on Canelo in Vegas on Saturday. And probably half of Omaha or Nebraska will be there representing, because Bud travels very, very deep, as well as Canelo does. But it's going to smell like championships coming back. And I know you're a boxing guy, Errol, so don't go against Bud Crawford, because I will fly there and cut your legs off.
As long as she's using dude wipes and taking care of my 2-hole, I'm good.
First of all, just so you know, I hate Canelo Alvarez. I've always hated Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo?
Never did. Never liked him. I didn't say he wasn't a good fighter. I never liked him. And if you were to ask me right now who's winning that fight, it's going to be Bud. I mean, he's ambidextrous. He can fight right-handed. He can fight left-handed. He put on some weight for this fight. He looks sensational. He put on good weight, not bad weight. Bud put on great weight for this fight. He worked really, really hard. You see the training. I've watched every bit of it. Go watch Netflix, the documentary that they have right now on Netflix. Bud looks sensational. I'm so excited for Bud. I want to see him wipe the floor with Canelo. Canelo has been ducking and weaving some of the best fighters in the primes of their career. Bud is in the prime of his career right now, and this is the best time to lay Canelo out. I think this is going to be a great fight. I think Bud's going to dominate it, and Canelo cannot stop the ability Bud has on stepping in and stepping out and be able to change both sides of the way he fights, right-handed and
It'll be interesting to see if Bud can handle a punch, though, going up 2 weight classes.
He could, 100%. I've seen Bud. Bud,
I mean, if he can handle a bullet, he can handle a punch.
Well, here's the thing. Bud trains with heavyweights, and he spars with heavyweights.
Dude, you're not telling me something I don't know. He's 45 minutes north of me.
Yeah. So Bud, I've been following Bud for a long, long time, and this guy trains with heavyweights and does a good number on heavyweights. I think he's going to be fine with Canelo. Canelo doesn't hit as hard as he used to, and I think Canelo, to me, is washed up, and he should shut his mouth and zipper his lips, because when he goes to these reports, when he goes to these weigh-ins, he stands there like he's the Canelo Alvarez from 10, 15 years ago. And even when he was there 10, 15 years ago, who did he beat in the prime of their career? Couldn't beat Triple G. I mean, that was an absolute robbery. Triple G won 2 out of the 3 fights. It was absolutely despicable what the boxing world did to Triple G. And Triple G was at the tail end of his career when he beat Canelo. So that's all I'm going to say. All right. My What's That Smell goes to what's going on in the world right now. Just think about this. I'm a Florida State fan. Did anybody hear about this story? 4 men arrested on the connection of the shooting of FSU's Ethan Pritchard. Tallahassee, Florida. 4 people have been arrested in connection of the shooting of Florida State linebacker Ethan Pritchard. Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Mark Glass said on Wednesday. Glass said that Pritchard was not doing anything wrong when he was ambushed outside of his apartment last month. He added that Pritchard was dropping off family members and an aunt and a child when he was shot in the back of his head. Okay, you know what that smells like? It smells like people don't know what the F they're doing. They put themselves in harm's way, and unfortunately, it puts him in harm's way for trying to help people and put himself in a position where he's going to be almost killed. I mean, it's a terrible story, and I don't want to mention any of the politics, but what's going on in the world right now is just despicable, and and people are getting murdered, innocently getting, stabbed, shot. Why can't we just get along? We're a country. We should be together on everything that's going on in the world right now. We shouldn't be killing each other. It's just a horrible story. Thank God Ethan Pritchard is okay, and he's going to survive and hopefully play football again. So,
Errol, we talked about it earlier today. We can disagree on politics. We can call each other idiots. But since we're airing it out and we talk, it's like, okay, cool. Let's go hang out and watch the game. Who cares? It's just politics. Who cares? It's not everything. And people make it everything. It's crazy. Like, any of the politicians care about you individually anyway. Let's just get past
why are we killing
watch the
people?
game.
Why are we killing people? Why are we shooting our own people? It's just we're stabbing people. Innocent people are dying, and this is a horrible story. He did nothing. He took his aunt and a child home, and he gets shot in the back of the head. The guy survived.
Four people jumped him though.
Yes, yep, 4 people. Yeah.
So
4 people were arrested. No, they were involved with it. They were involved with it.
So this was like an organized hit on this guy, basically, is what they're saying. Wow.
So they gave the names: 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐿, Karen Miller, Germany Atkins, and another minor. That's what they said. So those are the names. Honestly, it's a horrible story. And thank God Pritchard is going to survive. I mean, you get shot in the back of the head and you survive something like this.
Very lucky the way it hit you, I guess.
It's a horrible story. Unfortunately, he's safe, but it's unfortunate that you have crazy, ridiculous people out there. And that's why I don't even know what it smells like. It smells like people are just out of their friggin' minds. And honestly, there has to be something done with what's going on in the world right now. This is not safe. It's not a safe place to live when you're hanging out on a bus in North Carolina and or a train and somebody's sitting there and somebody just comes right over your shoulder and stabs you to death. It's horrible what's going on right now in the world. I'm scared. I'm a pretty big guy. I tell my girlfriend all the time, don't go somewhere without me, because I'm afraid that something's going to happen, so it is a really scary world right now. So my heart goes out to Ethan Pritchard. My heart goes out to the Kirk family. What happened today. I mean, it's a horrible story. I don't want to get into it. I'm not getting into politics, but it's a horrible story right now. And I know that's why Goody didn't come on the show tonight, because of it. So, yeah. Anyways, it was a great show. Thank you to Jordan Ronan for joining us. Ronan for joining us, and ESPN NFL Nation's giant reporter, beat writer. So thank you for him for joining. Thank you to Nathan for getting him and hooking us up with him. Thank you to all the fans on all the Spotify and Apple, from video to audio, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, Job in the Mouth. We really appreciate all the fans out there tuning in and watching our show on all the platforms. We really love all of you guys. Keep listening. Tell your friends about us. We like to give you guys a good show every Mondays and Wednesdays, and keep, like I said, keep supporting what we're doing. We love what we do, and I'm not just saying this. We're the best. We're the best in the business as far as our takes and coming out. And by the way, Fish is the one that really discovers some of the stories before they even be brought up in sports and media. And we're some of the first people to attack the stories. So if you watch us and you listen to us, we're going to give the take before everybody else does. And we do it better than anybody does. So that's Fish, by the way. So thank you to Fish. Thank you to all the fans out there tuning in and listening to us every single week. Again, we'll be back on Monday and Wednesday. Speedy, any guests?
Yes, we do have guests. 8:45 on Monday is your guy, the one you met at the Heisman Trophy. USA Today college football reporter and Enterprise writer Scooby Axton will be joining us again.
I got a lot to talk with Mr. Scoopster, because he told me he thinks Travis Hunter is going to be a breakout player.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. So that's 8:45 on Monday. And then on Wednesday, returning to the show, another guy that likes Travis Hunter on our draft panel is our guy Jeremy Mincy. Will be coming back on at 9:45.
I can't wait for
that. So I guess 2 guests that we'll argue about the Gremlin with.
Yeah, well, by the way, I've got my Gremlin shirt. It's the Gremlin. I got it made. Jacksonville Jaguars, number 12. I am going to promote the Gremlin, so maybe eventually he will, go out there and tell him.
So what the back says, Gremlin?
Yeah, it's going to say the Gremlin. The Gremlin.
Nice.
12.
I wanted to say before we go, everybody, life is too short. Love one another. Tell your family you love them, hold them, and treasure every moment you got because you don't know when it's your last.
100%.
Amen.
Very well said.
100%. And again,
Well said,
take
John.
care of your families. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back on Monday. Good night.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio.